Hello, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with Ripper Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. This is episode 332. In this episode, we're going to give our Week 13 winners and losers, recap the Eagles' blowout loss to the 49ers, talk about Jordan Love's shining, Texans' future, making our case for an MVP, and more. The first episode after another week of the NFL. How you guys feeling today?
I'm doing pretty solid. Unfortunately, my Broncos reign ends week 13, but still feeling good. Still feeling great. Can't complain too much. How you gentlemen doing?
Can't complain. Eagles took a tough L. We'll get into that. But bright side, I got another game up on Pick'em. Got one more on Drew. Two more on Joel over there. I know, maybe sweating a little bit. We got GTA 6 trailer just dropped coming in 2025. I cannot wait. Hopefully it drops. If it drops like holiday 2025, bro, and it's a full 2 years, I'll be so sick. I need that, first quarter of 2025, if you expect
April
anything
release
other
than 2025, I'm sorry.
I was holding out a little bit of hope for holiday 2024, but the trailer looks nuts. It looks mad good, so I'm excited for that.
Some things are more important than win-loss record in the pick 'em because I took a loss with the Chiefs game, but I took a major W with Jordan Love's performance. So I'm ecstatic. And it's kind of weird because I was looking at my losses this week. Broncos lost to the Texans 22-17, 5-point difference. Jets lost to the Falcons 8-13, 5-point difference. And the Saints lost to the Lions 28-33, 5-point difference. All these games came down to the wire. Sometimes to get back on track, you got to pick the upset picks. But unfortunately, this week, the upset picks were the Cardinals and the Packers over the Chiefs. The Cardinals one, I could have seen it coming a little bit.
Packers, man.
Could you have seen it coming a little bit?
Yeah.
I remember you getting a little bit nasty saying that, Kyler Murray's so good. Another week, he's going to lose.
No, I was asking if you're going to pick them because I think this is a very winnable game versus the Steelers.
Was that what you were doing, sir?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I don't know if that's what
I was expecting one of you guys to at least pick the Cardinals.
You're just like,
I thought it'd be Riv. Hates the Steelers.
Glad you respect that, Dehls.
Your love playing better than Kyler Murray right now.
You were like 2 games behind me. Now
I thought that would never happen.
I'm 4 behind him now.
I know you. Yeah,
so.
behind me there, buddy.
Nah, yeah, it's all right, man. As long as I stayed in the hunt, that was the goal. Get back in the hunt.
Are we? We'll talk about it on the pick'em. Never mind. Join the Patreon. Get the pick'em shows every Wednesday. We go through all of our picks. Hop on.
In certain situations, I like being behind more than in front. Dehls.
What?
What? But right now, you are in front on the NFL pick'ems.
Nuts.
One thing I want to shout out before we start this NFL podcast.
Okay.
He kind of cooked.
Shout out to everybody that sent us their Spotify rap.
Yes, sir.
We have some statistics here. We are the number one podcast for 1,322 fans. All you 1,322 fans, shout out to you guys. We are a top 5 podcast for 3,743 fans. And we are a top 10 podcast for 4,734 fans. And this year, we have had our best year yet. We have 1.3K top fans. We have gained our followers by 50%. And we have created 12.4 thousand minutes of content, which is crazy.
Goodness.
But thank you guys for listening to us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts.
I love you.
Hopefully in the near future, YouTube and Apple could get a wrapped version of their own so we can see your guys' statistics. But like what Dell said, on the Patreon, we do a Pick'em episode each week. And this past Pick'em, I thought was our best Pick'em episode yet. And as the season goes on, the topics and the debates only getting that much nastier because the clip that did the best from this past week's episodes that we did that went on TikTok and Instagram was from the Pick'em episode. Where Riv said it was disrespectful.
You're welcome.
That the Eagles were not favored against the Niners. Riv,
you're welcome. I know I'm here to give out great content.
Did that one go crazy? I didn't even see that one.
I'm here to put out great content.
Oh, Riv, what did I tell you when that topic happened? I said that it's setting you up to fail.
And what did I tell you? That I always stand on what I say. That's the type of man I am. And,
you know how to do it in sign language, bro?
What you mean? Oh, yeah. Like I tweeted, humble pie. He humbled us. We go back to the drum bird and Jalen.
Now you're kelp juice.
Sorry.
Oh shit. Don't listen. I've had one of those. Don't do that. And Jalen Hurts said it best. You look in the mirror, You go back to the drawing board, you figure it out, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna always stand though. Still one of the best teams in the league. Maybe not the best of them all, but one of the best for
See,
sure.
Riv, this is where it sucks. What happened to by far and away?
We lost. You gotta.
It wasn't just a loss too.
Yeah,
they came down the wire, field goal.
They
They
literally said they like walked in their belts to asses and destroyed us. Yeah, so
It felt so week
crazy.
to week. It's so
Yeah.
that's why conversation.
And they're gonna lose 2 in a row when they lose to Dallas this weekend.
I'll tell
When they
you
go to
what,
Jerry
man.
World.
The NFL has something against the Eagles. Niners get 10 days
Oh,
rest.
yeah?
Cowboys get 10 days rest. When the Eagles get the
And
advantage?
the
then
Cowboys played 3 games in 11 days. They had it much
They
tougher than the
played
Eagles.
fucking nobody
3
Oh,
games
okay.
in 11
Bozos.
days.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
because they had Thursday,
Thursday to Thursday,
7.
and
they
then
played the Commanders.
they played Sunday, then they played Thursday, and then they played Thursday again.
Who's the teams? Commanders, Panthers,
It's
Giants.
3 and 11.
Is that really 3 games in 11 days?
Panthers, Giants.
something
It
like
sounds
that.
like practice in 11 days.
Because the Eagles get that last month of the
Sorry,
season.
Was the Commanders practice for the Eagles? That was a pretty close game, right?
Not the defense, unfortunately.
Oh,
They,
okay.
for some reason,
Oh.
they have voodoo when they play us, and they just
Commanders undoubtedly have
3
the Eagles
games.
number.
In 11 days.
11 days.
11 days. Oh man, today the NBA in-season tournament is happening. If you guys want to get on the action, you guys can go play Prize Picks.
Lock in.
If
Lock
you
in,
guys
lock in.
use code PAS, you can get a $100 deposit match up to 100%, or I flip that around, whatever it is, whatever the case is. But if you want to get on the action tonight, you can with Prize Picks. Please gamble responsibly. But in the month of December, we are going to be partnered with Prize Picks, so we will be pushing Prize Picks. And recently, I did place some bets on Prize Picks. I need to go back to New York to
Let
play
me
some
tell you
again.
this though, Riv. I hate to put you on blast right here. You got the mega slip right now that you're gonna wake up to hopefully tomorrow morning. Talk to the streets about what the mega slip is.
well, actually, I just put in another bet
Oh God, slippery slope, man.
for $100 to win 1,000, and I took Malik Monk's. I actually said, you know what, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. So I took Malik Monk's over on his points, 14.5. I took Zion Williamson's fantasy score. So what that is you guys know fantasy. If you get a certain amount of fantasy score, you can bet on that in Prize
That's
Picks,
points,
which is
rebounds,
fire.
assists, steals,
It's
blocks.
everything.
Mhm.
Every statistical category you can bet on that. So I took the over on Zion, 38.5. He's playing Sabonis and Keegan Murray. He should have some fun tonight. Then I took Jalen Brown's defensive rebounds, 4.5. I took the over, of course. And then I combined Hallie and Fox's threes. It was at 6.0 to combo. I took it over. So that's just one of mine. I can't find the other one, but I have 2 $1,000 bets, $1,000 bets in, another free $125 bet. I could wake up with 2K. I could wake up with 1K. I could wake up with 0. So we'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Riv is a perfect example of what not to do if you guys are watching at home. Please gamble responsibly.
Well, it's
Please
free.
gamble
It's free money.
Free bet.
Yeah.
You gotta. I haven't put $1 in yet.
And
I haven't
also,
put
you've
it
been
out
up.
yet.
Streets
He
been up.
has been up. He has been up.
I haven't put $1 in yet. So shout out to Yato.
That is true. He is playing with house money right
He
now.
is.
That's a great thing. How much do you have in the account right now that you've been up?
I took it all out, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, every
nice.
time I
Okay.
win a big one, take it out. I don't need that to be in there. Take it out.
Smart guy. You want to talk about betting responsibly? There it is, right
That's
there.
a betting.
Because if you keep it in, you start
responsibly,
moving funny. Like, what if I throw this 500 on this 3-gamer? Nah, I ain't doing that. So I keep it simple.
Isaiah Pat sent us a $10 super chat.
Isaiah, man.
His
Shout out
first
to Isaiah
His
Pat.
first super chat on the stream. Shout out to YouTube for letting us know that.
Shout out to Isaiah.
Thanks, Isaiah.
On to the first topic of the show. Before we get into the meat of it, when we're going to talk
lot
about
of
the
meat on this
49ers and the Eagles, biggest winners and losers of NFL Week 13. We're going to go round table, give your winner and loser.
Okay.
I'll start with you, Drew.
All right, that's fine. My winner is going to be someone that we talk about a little bit later. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. I think they have the most meaningful win on the season versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking about 2 powerhouse teams going up against one another, going into Lincoln Field and laying down one of the crazier ass beatings on the season, really giving Philadelphia a taste of humble pie. Definitely my biggest winners. Coming in, the conversations about the Eagles being the best team in football, but you understood that the defense was a strong weakness. Looking at Philadelphia, they seem to be the more complete team of the two. I feel like going forward, you have to acknowledge San Francisco as the better team of the two. And obviously, after an ass beating, how do you defend Philadelphia like that? But then the losers, unfortunately, my Denver Broncos. We went from, if we would have won this game, an over 60% chance of making the playoffs. Now our chances sit just under 25%. Wow. It's tough. It's brutal. But I'll say this, because I know that you and I had some conversations before, and Joel and I, we spoke yesterday on the Fantasy Reaction. I left feeling this game where it was 2 dogs, and unfortunately, 1 dog had to lose. And people have been bashing Russell Wilson all yesterday, all this morning, and I feel like I'm the only person here that is defending Russ. I don't think he had a great game, but I wouldn't say he had a bad game. To me, it was the most confidence that he's shown me in a meaningful game for the Denver Broncos. He was letting the ball fly down the middle of the field, something that we've had discussions about him struggling with. He was throwing the ball down the field. He made some timely plays on 3rd and 4th down. One play that people are really at his neck about was the one that he missed Jerry Jeudy for a touchdown. Fair enough, but I'm watching the tape back, as everyone should be doing as well. And the minute Jeudy gets open is the same time that Russ puts his head down on 4th down to get 1 yard just to keep the drive alive. To me, that's the mission, to move the ball down, move the chains, keep continuing the drive. Of course, you would have loved the touchdown in that situation. But again, it was so bang, bang, and the point of it was to get the 1st down. And then the interceptions, 1 tipped at the line. Amazing play by Stingley over the middle of the field to recover 6.5 yards to get to Courtland Sutton to play the ball, make an amazing play and intercept it. And then that last interception where he was pressured all game long, 19 total pressures he faced in this game, was hurried over 10 times, was sacked 3. A lot of that where it could have been more if Russell wasn't scrambling for his life and evading pressure the way that he does. But again, in that last play, he brushes off the defender, stands strong in the pocket, throws it to the tight end where, again, maybe you don't throw it to your worst receiving option in that moment. But I saw what he saw. He was open in that moment that he threw the ball. Ward just makes a great break on the ball, interception. That's how, unfortunately, we lose the game. But, I still feel confident in the squad. We lose against a team that has been playing some very strong football in the Houston Texans. We got lit up in that first half, but in the second half, we looked like that defense that we saw in the last 5 weeks of the season. So, to me, it's tough. Playoffs, definitely, it's going to be an uphill battle from here, but gotta stay consistent when it comes to conversations like these. Losers, you have to look at the Denver Broncos, unfortunately.
I think you're being way too easy on Russell Wilson. I really think you are, because you mentioned that 4th and 1 play, the goal of the drive is just to keep it alive, right? But when you have a receiver as open as Jerry Jeudy, where no defender was near him, and if Russell Wilson throws a moon ball, even if it's underthrown by, it doesn't matter. He was that wide open.
He was.
Jerry Jeudy would have scored a touchdown, and that would have given you guys the lead with less than a minute left versus the Texans on the road, and it would have increased your playoff chances dramatically. The reason why I say I think you're way too easy is because I remember when Patrick Mahomes threw a perfect ball to MVS and you bashed him for it. If Russell Wilson doesn't see a wide open guy on 4th down and you're not saying nothing, you're giving it a pass. I feel like if this was Mahomes, you would be talking about the play all day, left and right. You tweet about it, you make videos about it. But with Russell Wilson, it's, I'm giving him a pass. Listen, I think the fact that it took until week 13 of Russell Wilson's 2nd NFL season with the Broncos for him to showcase you confidence in his arm is an issue, and it's alarming. You're giving him $250 million. I mean, he's supposed to win those games. He's supposed to make those plays. He's supposed to get you to the playoffs. And this game, the most important game of the season, he had 3 interceptions. Through all 3 in the second half. You're being way too easy on Russ.
Every week for the Denver Broncos is going to be our most important game of the season. Last week, it was versus the Cleveland Browns. This week, of course, definitely versus the Houston Texans. But again, there were not many situations where I had to see Russ, or Russ was being put in a situation where he needed to play or make plays for us to win. In this Houston game, he definitely went out of his ways to make those plays. Again, Jeudy was open. Agreed. But in that situation, he's putting his head down the same way that Jeudy goes. And let's talk about some deep balls that he had in this game. One to Jeudy. Right after Texans score a touchdown to Nico Collins. Quick points on the board. That's with 11 minutes left in the 4th. That dime pass to Courtland Sutton. He had some great passes in this game. Definitely a little bit of a mistakes in terms of the interception. But like I said, sometimes you got to credit the opposing team. And I feel like more often than not, when we're giving our analysis and we're looking at the box score, it's very easy just to say, oh, he threw 3 interceptions. He threw a game-losing interception as well. But at the same time, sometimes you just need to give credit to the other team. Sometimes the other team just plays better, makes better plays, and they win the ball game. You want to talk about Mahomes and Russell Wilson? Come on, let's just be realistic. It's a difference in talent right now. Mahomes is the cream of the crop, and Russell Wilson's not anywhere near that anymore in his point in his career. To say it's alarming when since we've gone on this win streak, He's top 8 in terms of completion percentage over expected and EPA per play. He's been playing some very good football. Still number 2 in touchdown interception ratio. Maybe number 3 now because Dak Prescott has been playing some amazing ball, and he did just throw 3 INTs. But at the end of the day, I still feel confident in my quarterback. Again, you want to talk about that I'm critical of Mahomes. It's a standard that he set for himself, and that's just me being transparent there. And I'll never support the Kansas City Chiefs. You just got to live with that.
So the standard is a perfect pass to MVS, but you bashed him because it was like maybe a little bit like over his palm of his hand. Maybe it's his fingertip.
The thing I'll say is
whether it was Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes, if a wide receiver is wide open and that can win you the game, I'm gonna be critical of the play. Is that not facts?
But Joel, you're being a little ignorant to the idea that it is 4th down. He is just trying to keep the drive alive, which is exactly what
he's wide open and had no pressure, bro.
But he
had no pressure. There was no pressure.
He looked down to run at the same time as he's open.
So can you say he dropped his eyes too soon?
I guess. Yes. You're trying to pick up the first down.
But he dropped his eyes too soon. He had a wide open guy that could have won him the game with a touchdown.
But would you have rather him throw the ball, it be incomplete, and we don't continue
if it's incomplete, that means he threw a bad ball to Jerry Jeudy.
Okay,
he was wide open.
But we still continued the drive.
Had chances after that play.
And then got lost because he threw an interception on the same drive.
But again, he's evading pressure. He throws somebody off of him, and he tries to deliver a strike.
I'm being harsh for wanting him to throw that ball to Jeudy.
I'm not. I'm just looking around.
I'm being harsh.
He probably should have threw it, but he also understands where Drew's coming from. It's 4th down. If you don't get this yard, the game's over. You lose.
Yes,
so you get the yard.
Are both positive plays? Yes.
One is just better. I understand.
One wins you the football game. That's the difference. That's the difference.
But that play, the running play didn't lose in the game.
No, I'm not saying it lost him the game, but that play could have very well won you the game.
Sure, could have.
Yeah. Those are 2 positive plays, but at the end of the day, like this is other quarterbacks that we're holding to a $250 million standard. We're going to be critical if they don't make that play.
But he's played well, and even in this game where he did have 3 INTs, I still look in the second half, and I think he made some very high level plays. He had some very high level passes. We just came away with the loss. If we win this game, obviously we're having a different conversation, but it is what it is. He did end the game with an interception. It's a tough loss to handle too, but I think that our team has recovered well. Russell Wilson has been playing some really good ball in this span of games since week 7 after that Green Bay game. So I understand being critical of him, especially because the box score doesn't look the best. But again, I feel good in him. I think he made some strong plays regardless.
I think your winners and losers are fair. Dehls, what's your winners and losers?
So just real quick, the whole like 60%, 20% chance, it could flip on a dime. Like next week, right? You get a few teams, the Browns lose, Houston loses, the Bills lose, and all of a sudden, like, oh, now we have a 50% chance again.
Yeah.
But going on to my biggest,
they're actually mad low.
Who?
The Bills in terms of making the playoffs.
Because they lost to y'all.
I think they're still under. They're under us.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I actually had my biggest winner as the Buffalo Bills. They 14%. The chances are still slim, but basically all of the teams they needed to lose outside of the Texans because they played the Broncos lost, right? We're looking at the Steelers lost to the Cardinals. They also lost Kenny Pickett, so there's a chance he's going to be out multiple weeks. He just had surgery on his ankle. The Browns lost to the Rams. The Broncos lost to the Texans. So 3 AFC teams that were all ahead of the Bills, all able to lose. The Bills were able to not move up a spot because they're on a bye, but didn't lose any ground. So now they sit 1 game behind Texans, Browns, Steelers, Colts, who had a crazy overtime win. They're not done yet. 6-6, big game against Kansas City, probably must-win territory. They lose that game against Kansas City, it's probably over. But
do you want
they
them
have
in?
a chance to win? The Bills?
Yeah, in the playoffs.
I would much rather see them than like the Colts or the Browns or the Steelers. Yeah, so I want to see them in because I know I'm going to get high-level quarterback play.
Everybody should want to see Josh Allen make the playoffs.
For sure.
Everybody.
My biggest loser, though, so of course you got the Bills moving up, but Riv, your Cleveland Browns, man, to steal your line, jigs up. Back-to-back losses.
Joe Flacco had 200 though.
And
Joe Flacco played well.
The defense really.
That's what's most surprising. They've allowed 29 points to the Broncos 2 weeks ago, 36 points to the Rams. Joe Flacco had the 200 yards. He was fine. It's Joe Flacco. He's still probably a bottom 5 starter in the NFL. Whether it's him, it's probably going to be him moving forward. I don't know. DTR still dealing with that concussion. I would side with Joe Flacco. I think he's a better quarterback right now. And they'll probably have to win at least 3 games down the stretch. They're 7-5 right now. They have Jacksonville next week, Chicago, the Jets, and at Cincinnati. So the Jaguars game is going to be tough. But look at Chicago Jets and backup quarterback Jake Brown against Cincinnati. Those are 3 games they can win, so they're not out of it. But if the defense is going to be allowing, 29, 35 points per game, you're going to rely a lot on Joe Flacco on that offense.
4th and 5, and Cleveland's 30. They didn't get it. That's why the Rams scored that extra touchdown. That's why they got the 36. Then they had a safety. Fuck you wanted to do,
I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah.
36, 28.
So they
still not
allowed
great.
29 instead of 36.
No,
That makes you feel better.
That's 9 points off.
The secondary wasn't good.
No,
for the
yeah,
Browns.
but had a bad day.
To be fair,
Puka
no
had a
Denzel
big play.
Ward,
Mhm.
and Myles Garrett clearly is injured.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's an issue going forward.
For sure. I'm with you.
Listen, Cleveland fought as hard as they could, man. This is their fourth quarterback. They fought as hard as they could. I guess I'll go because I'm up next.
You can go.
Mine's is complete opposite of Drew's. I'll be honest. Winners for me, the Houston Texans. Definitely having Denver come in there. Denver coming in there fresh off a 5-6 game winning streak. They're hot. Russell's playing well. The defense is on fire. Houston coming off not a terrible loss, but definitely another, close ass game where they lost to Jacksonville for sure. And like this year, they've had 2 losses where the defense cannot clutch up. Against the Falcons, I believe they hit a game-winning field goal, and against the Panthers, they also hit a game-winning field goal. So 2 games, defense had an opportunity, they couldn't do it. This game, I feel like in the first half, they were solid. Even then, the offense still wasn't clicking fully, but they had some good plays. Nico Collins was fucking amazing.
He was.
And I understand people are going to be like, well, they lost Tank Dell for the year, which is sad to see because he was having a breakout year. But just the confidence in their defense, to go down there, and Denver started clicking in the second half, but Stingley was a dog.
He was amazing.
Greenwood was a dog. Will Anderson was a dog. Like, they were putting so much pressure on Russell, and Stingley made every play possible for this defense. Even Jimmy Ward too. Like, they were making plays, and then Russell Wilson had an opportunity to win the game. And that defense in the red zone, 4 plays, they manned up and they did what they needed to do, and they got them to win. So for me, that just goes to give them confidence on the defensive side, because I know they're one of the most penalized teams in the league on that side of the ball. And they're also, they've got a couple losses because of their defense couldn't hold up. But to get this one against a hot and streaking Denver Broncos team, fresh off a loss to Jacksonville, that bodes well, especially lost at home, so that bodes well for their confidence. And then the losers, of course, is the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Because, losing is one thing. Losing by a field goal, losing by 7. But to get blown out in Philly like that, and the way you started was so ooze material. Like, it had, the world, it was so, the defense was on fire. The crowd was in it. And I think that's what really fucked them up. Like, they had opportunities in the red zone, and they couldn't score. Like, they got field goals, but they couldn't score touchdowns. And then once the Niners got into their mode, they got into, the gas was to the pedal. There was nothing you can do. Everybody was wide open. So I look at them as a loss because, like Drew mentioned, this was probably the biggest game of the year for both teams. Definitely biggest game of the year for the NFC. And the Niners went out there. This is their whole new team, and they got out there, and they just showed you, this Chase Young move improved us. We're a totally, completely different team when we're healthy. Those losses did not matter because when all of our guys, 99% because they didn't have Hufanga, but when most of our guys are on the field, we can dominate any team in the league. And for the Eagles, there's really nothing they can do to improve the secondary. They can't go out and get anybody. Nobody's coming off injuries. This is what they have to go with. They did pick up Shaq Leonard. I don't know, what's his vibe or how good he is, but they did pick him up. But realistically, you lost in the trenches on both sides of the ball, which is probably your best strength. So for me, winners, Texans, loss, Eagles.
My biggest winner is Jordan Love's future with the Green Bay Packers. He's been playing amazing football. People have put an asterisk next to it because they're saying, oh, it's against the Lions defense. It's against the Chargers defense. It's against the Rams. Oh, it's against the Steelers. Even though he didn't have the best statistical game against them, he played a good game against them. But to go and beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football and make the throws he was making versus Steve Spagnuolo, who in their very first matchup, he dialed up a ton of blitz packages on Jordan Love, and I thought Jordan Love handled it well. The box score, they didn't say that he had the best game, but in terms of his process and decision-making, I thought he had a fantastic game because he handled what Spags threw at him very well. Now in his second matchup, he said he's had this game circled on his calendar for a very long time, and for him to have 3 passing touchdowns, he's had that in 3 straight games. 9 touchdowns in the last 3 games, no interceptions. Jordan Love is proven to be the future of the Packers at the quarterback position, and it's coming at a great time because I remember back in week 8, week 9, when Brian Gutekunst said that these next couple of weeks are going to tell us a lot about Jordan Love, and we're going to evaluate him, and he's done nothing but pass all those tests with flying colors. And my losers are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're 7-5. They just lost Kenny Pickett. He might not be back anytime soon. It's an ankle injury. Just got ankle surgery. Their defense took a step back. They allowed 150 rushing yards versus the Cardinals, and the Cardinals scored 24 points on them. The Steelers are the only team in NFL history through 12 games. They have scored the fewest points of any NFL team through 12 games in NFL history. I was never a believer in their record. They kept finding ways to win, but I do think Kenny Pickett getting hurt, it now puts a lot of pressure on Mitch Trubisky that I don't think he's ready to handle. So I think the Steelers are it's very realistic they can fall to a 500 record in these next upcoming weeks.
That fewest points, I'm assuming, with the winning record.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So nuts.
No, the Steelers without Kenny Pickett and with Mitch Trubisky, it just doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that this team's better with Kenny Pickett, and that's saying a lot because Kenny Pickett
also got hurt too.
He did get hurt for sure, but Kenny Pickett, however you feel about him, you watch the game, you just know he's better than Mitch Trubisky. What Mitch Trubisky offers the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not going to result in playing winning football and then going up against the Arizona Cardinals in a game that already had the weather play a part in the game where they took multiple breaks, multiple pauses. Mitch Trubisky just is not someone that I trust running my offense, and where I barely feel comfortable with a Kenny Pickett. He did have a great game against Cincinnati, but it's tough to look at the Steelers in a positive light moving forward. He's going to be the quarterback.
Kyler wasn't even that good in this game.
He wasn't.
We had 13 completions on 22 attempts. Like, this wasn't like a game Kyler went out
the
there
James
and took
Conner
over.
show, for sure.
James Conner revenge game had 25 carries over 120 yards. He went crazy.
Should have known it was going to be the revenge game.
Eh.
Your biggest loser, the Philadelphia Eagles, they lost in embarrassing fashion to the 49ers, 42-19 Riv. And I don't know about you. Maybe we have the same things that we learned from this game. When it comes to me, what I learned about this game, really, it told me one thing. If the 49ers were healthy in the NFC Championship game, the Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl. And I think if you guys meet again in the playoffs, it's going to look similar to this result. I think they dominated you. They're more talented than you. It's as simple as that.
You think it's another blowout?
They definitely win convincingly, I think. It might not be 42-19, but the way this team dominated the Eagles, they stopped your entire run game.
Sure.
DeAndre Swift, Gainwell, and Boston Scott had a 0% success rate on their runs. And then they were able to run the ball on you repeatedly. CMC, 71% success rate on the ground. Debo, 67% success rate on the ground. The Eagles signed Shaq Leonard. I don't think it does nothing for them. Shaq Leonard is not who he once was. The Colts, who are a team that is in a wild card hunt in the AFC, decided we're going to go with Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed instead of Shaq Leonard. They ate money to release Shaq Leonard. If Shaq Leonard was still a starting caliber linebacker, that would have not happened. Now, I think, yes, is he an upgrade over Morrow and the liability is the Eagles have the second level? Yes, but he's not the athlete he once was. He can't cover. And the biggest weakness with the Eagles right now is the linebackers can't cover. Your secondary, whether it's been Bradbury and even big play Slay, he's been a little bit of a liability in coverage this year. He's been allowing a lot of yards. I just don't see this Eagles defense matching up with the 49ers offense when they're on full go and Kyle Shanahan is able to move the chess pieces on his offense and trick you with a bunch of motion. The Eagles just can't handle that. And offensively, and defensively, they really beat you up in the trenches bad. And when you're able to stop the run and you can play zone behind that, and Jalen Hurts has to drop back into those zone looks, I don't trust that offense that much. I think the Eagles' record masked a lot of the problems you guys already had. The defense we knew took a step back, but the offense has taken a notable step back with Brian Johnson calling plays. But because they've been winning, it's been getting swept under the rug. But I think these slow starts can come back to haunt the Eagles, and you can't always count on a heroic one quarter to win you games, especially in the playoffs, especially when these teams have prepared for you and they have you figured out and they've matched up a lot of times.
I disagree. I disagree hugely. I disagree mightily, I'll be honest. I think what you're saying when it comes to speaking about the Niners makes 100% like true. When like you can't have these slow starts against the Niners, you can't, have this bland offense. But I think when you're talking about the grand scheme of things and talking about the NFC, I don't think it's a big deal when matching up against Detroit. I don't think it's a big deal when matching up against Seattle. I don't think these teams are as talented as the Niners to do what they just did. You mentioned our record has been masking that. Well, we've been winning games against teams that realistically are just not the Niners. The Niners proved to the world that they're the best team in the league, like by far. Like they didn't just do this to us. They've done this to every team. They did it to the Jaguars. They did it to the Cowboys. And that was before they had Chase Young. So like you mentioned it, they beat us on every phase of football in that game. You know, after the first quarter, it was Niners, running the ball in the trenches, pressures. So like they beat us in every way. Our defensive line couldn't get to Brock Purdy anymore. We couldn't stop the run. Our wide receivers couldn't get over. Shout out to Smitty. He had a couple really nice catches. That's Definitely. My dog for sure. But we couldn't get nothing in the run game. Jalen Hurts kept sitting back in the pocket. He couldn't find anybody open. Couldn't even escape for real because it felt like the Niners had him so boxed in to where even if he backed up, he couldn't run to the right. He couldn't run to the left because they had guys out there. Our fucking security got ejected, and there was still no life in the team. So the Niners honestly belt the asses. They just did what they needed to do, and they humbled us. And they are undoubtedly the best team in the league. But I disagree on that point. I don't think the wins that we had in the clutch masked anything. I just think, you know, when it comes to what the Niners did, people are going to overreact to what the Niners did. People are going to look at the Niners beating us like that and call us frauds, call us overrated. But in reality, no other team is going to do that to us. No other team has the ability or the talent to do that to us. The Niners have talent on both sides of the ball. They have arguably the best. They probably have the best offense in the league, and they have the best defense in the league. No other team can do that. So I think, you know, there's going to be overreactions to the game. I think you can just say we're not on their level, which is fine. But we'll see them again, and I guarantee you it's going to be a different result. So I'm not really too worried about that. I don't
you guys lose by like 10 points?
No, I think we'll win. I think we'll win. I think they adjusted. They got their give back. They watched the film, and that's fine. They got the win. They whipped our asses, and I think now it's our time, our opportunity to go adjust, to go look at the film, see what we can do that's different, you know, have a better game plan. Because you mentioned it, we have a new OC, but I think, you know, Goddard comes back this week. That's going to be huge. You know, we just got to figure out some things. I think the Niners, what they did was impressive. I can't hold that against him. Brock Purdy didn't even do too much. Like, the statistics were great, but he didn't have to do really shit. He just made the right plays to his playmakers, and they did what they needed to do. And CMC was a dog on the ground, and that defensive line held up. But I don't think this should warrant any concerns when it comes to any other team in the NFC. I still think you put us ahead of those other teams. I still think we can beat those other teams. Just because the Niners did this to us don't mean you should overreact.
49ers masterclass, Kyle Shanahan masterclass. I actually think the secondary wasn't terrible in this game. I'm looking at the numbers in terms of yards allowed by Bradley Roby, allowed 15 yards. Darius Slay allowed 32 yards. We have Bradbury here, who was around like 30 or 40 yards as well, maybe a little bit less. It was really the linebackers. And, you know, Kyle Shanahan obviously saw that on film, that these backup linebackers cannot guard anybody. And to be fair, there's probably no linebacker in the league outside of the one they have in Fred Warner who's going to be able to consistently match up with guys like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. And they took advantage, you know. I'll talk about the Eagles a bit later, but you have to highlight the 49ers because, Riv, I think you're right. Best team in football. You know, this was dominating on both sides of the ball. That first 2 drives for both teams, you had the Eagles go right down the field, settled for field goals, back-to-back drives. I really didn't feel great about that. But then you see on the other side of the ball, the 49ers really just stall out. Like, you know, it seemed like they were pretty pass-heavy to start off. They didn't really get CMC involved those first couple of drives, 3 and out. Then after that, though, ripping, 5 or 6 straight touchdown drives. Unbelievable stuff for the 49ers. It was crazy. Yeah, I have the actual numbers a little bit later.
2 touchdowns in every quarter but the first.
They were insane. This was a game where the Cowboys got their ass kicked a few weeks ago, or I guess a couple months ago at this point. But this was, you know, the score maybe not 35 points or whatever, but it felt like that at the end of it, where there was even a time where right after security got kicked out, the Eagles score a touchdown. It's a 2-possession game. Yep. You're like, okay, 1 stop and we're in this. And the Niners
4
just
plays
right back down, just big chunk end zone. And it felt like, damn, like it's 3 touchdowns again. Now we're in the third quarter. It felt like the game was starting to get away. Brock Purdy, though, I thought, you know, even though it was a lot of yak, right? I think it was over 200 yards of yak, like 60, 70% of his throws. The Eagles threw a lot of blitzes at him. He was 10 for 10 against the blitz, goes for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns. A lot of that thanks to Deebo Samuel just putting on a masterclass. But I thought Brock Purdy was sensational, but it was really the defense, man. I mean, this is a defense that's number 2 scoring defense, 5th fewest yards in the league. They're one of 2 teams to allow fewer than 80 rushing yards on the season. And this was only the second time all year where the Eagles, or the first time all year, they were held to less than 60 rushing yards, second time less than 80. So this was an Eagles team who had been running the ball very successfully throughout the season. The Niners shut that down. And then you also look at turnover differential. They have tied for the second most turnovers and second fewest takeaways, or excuse me, other way around. Second fewest turnovers, second most takeaways. So they're taking care of the ball. We've seen that last season with Brock Purdy. We've seen that this season with Brock Purdy. You don't really have many fumbles from the running back, CMC, Debo, Ayuk. They do a great job, and they're the best team right now. And the Eagles, there's a lot to get into with this Eagles team, but I think the first thing that comes to mind, I brought this up when they beat the Bills last week, is this defense. Last year when they had an easy schedule, I want to say they were in the top 10 defensively. I don't remember their exact numbers, but I want to say 8th scoring defense. But we all came up here, and I think we were in agreement that the defense is good, but probably not to the point that they were showing, at least statistically, last season. And this season, when they've had some tougher teams, on the schedule, it hasn't been the same. Whatever, if you're looking at EPA, DVOA, points allowed, yards allowed, we're talking about a bottom 10, bottom 5 unit across the board. So this is, again, like Riv said, this isn't something that you're going to get players back. You're going to get an all-pro linebacker, an all-pro corner or safety who's going to come in here and be able to change things up. And, of course, that's going to scare Eagles fans because the 49ers, that's the team you're going to have to play if you want to get to the Super Bowl. I don't look at, the Cowboys, Lions, Seahawks, whoever it might be, being able to knock off the 49ers. So the Eagles are going to have to, at some point, figure out a way to at least slow down this offense or make Brock Purdy uncomfortable or force a couple of turnovers because the game they showed yesterday, it's unwinnable. There's no way you can allow the 49ers to go drive after drive after drive really with ease. I mean, the 49ers, it felt like, I don't have the number in front of me, but I would be surprised if they faced more than 10 third downs yesterday.
Couldn't tackle for shit.
And even when they got into third downs, it was open players where Purdy was able to hit it. I just had no confidence throughout this game that the Eagles at any point were going to be able to stop the 49ers. When they got to the 2-possession game, I was like, all right, maybe a turnover or something like that. But they were just so successful, whether it was the run, whether it was the pass. Like I said, Kyle Shanahan and the offense executed the game perfectly. And the way this defense is playing, number 2 scoring defense, and especially since the bye, acquiring Chase Young, and overall just getting the offensive pieces healthy. When they have Debo and Ayuk and CMC and George Kittle, I mean, it's hard to find a defense in the league that can stop them, let alone this Eagles defense that's shown us basically all year long to be one of the worst in the league.
Just before you guys go, Bruce Brown got the 2 steals that I needed. And Jalen Brown is 2 more rebounds off.
How many points did Jalen Brown have, more importantly?
Oh, he has 10. He's cooking.
In the first quarter?
This is all in the first quarter.
The fuck up.
I need some threes to start for
All right,
he hasn't taken
that.
he has 1 3. I just need the.
All right, so let's talk about this game real quick. You guys laid out a lot of facts, very, very little fiction in this conversation so far. When we talked about this game, I felt as if the home field advantage would play more of a factor, but the fact that the Niners came in here and beat that ass was shocking to me. But like Riv mentioned, we've seen the Niners play against some high-level teams this season and lay that boot to the ass. It's truth against the Cowboys, against the Jaguars, and now against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Not against the Bengals with Joe Burrow. But he's hurt. Bengals would have won it all this year. Had it and the only team to really kick the Niners.
The Niners hurt that game.
Debo and Trent didn't play.
And then Chase wasn't there yet. Correct.
Chase wasn't there yet, but still, the Bengals.
No. That's
Joe Burrow had a massive.
My comment was when the Niners are healthy,
I think even if they
and also
they probably.
Riv, that's an excellent point because we see how different this offense is with Trent Williams. Forget about just Debo Samuel, who was the MVP of last night's game. Trent Williams and the impact that he has on this team is not one that you can just gloss over. He is truly the best offensive lineman.
When Trent was out, CMC did not have his best games.
That's also true, but then you just also look at the fact of CMC's impact on yesterday's game. 5.5 over 5 yards per carry last night against a solid run defense from the Philadelphia Eagles. Virtually, the Eagles had no answer for the San Francisco 49ers offense. And you got to credit Shanahan. Absolutely. He drew up an amazing game plan. Brock Purdy was just able to execute. Him getting launched into the number 1 spot for the MVP, a little bit wild to me, especially after I'm not looking.
You had to know.
You did have to know, but the MVP of yesterday's game was Debo Samuel. The yards after the catch, the breaking tackles. That's really also what you can look at when we're looking on the opposite side for the Philadelphia Eagles. You mentioned the linebackers. They couldn't tackle anyone.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel had that big play because dude misses a tackle, and it's just a house call after that. Deebo Samuel has breakaway speed. Any play can be a touchdown, and we saw that on display yesterday. So when you take a step back and you look at these two teams moving forward, last week, at least I felt, and I know I'm definitely not the only one that felt this way, is that the most complete team was the 49ers. Eagles have been playing some good football. They were at home. I thought them being underdogs was a little bit disrespectful to them, especially on this run, but this was a statement game. And like I said earlier, this is the most meaningful win of the 2023 season. And you got to give credit to Shanahan. You got to give credit to Brock and the rest of the guys on that offense because they executed a near perfect game plan.
They were 8 for 11 on third down. I just looked it up. And I also on third down this season, they faced the fewest amount of third downs by any team. And when they get into third downs, they're 5th best in the league. Just shows how this offense, first and second down, the ability to sustain drives, ability to stay ahead of the sticks. When you're not getting in these 3rd and 10s, these 3rd and 8s, having penalties, stuff like that, it's hard enough to play offense in the NFL. And when you're avoiding all of that with all the talent you have on this team, this is the type of game.
Did you see the outfits they were coming in with when they was in Philly, bro? It was nasty outfits. Like they was here for business.
I'm gonna be honest. The amount of confidence they had in whooping your guys' ass.
Oh yeah.
I definitely don't have a doubt in my mind that the same result would happen again. They will beat you guys again when it matters most.
The defensive performance that the Niners put forth yesterday was one of the best I've seen this year.
And this is the thing, it's kind of funny. All of your guys' takes. You guys said a lot of great things. I don't disagree with what you guys said at all. Dehls mentioned a great stat about how the secondary didn't really, they weren't allowing many yards. And that's because every team is going to attack the Eagles linebackers. And especially for the Niners, their bread and butter is attacking the middle of the field.
For sure.
So that is the part that is going to get exposed in every single matchup when they face off against Philadelphia. Shaq Leonard is not helping that, and there's no linebacker currently on the team that is going to help that.
He definitely helps a little bit.
Better than Morrow.
Maybe.
And
He's better than the backup.
Zach Cunningham was getting bullied.
Zach Cunningham.
Eli Ricks was also getting cooked.
Zach Cunningham is awesome in the run game. He's awesome in run defense, but he can't cover. This is a thing. This is my gripe that I have with what you guys said. Mostly what Riv said, because Riv said, he thinks they'll beat the Niners again when they match up. I don't know about you.
Say something different?
No, stay true to your team.
We got a lot of time till January. We'll see what happens.
Dehls, I got a question for you. Do you think the Eagles can make it back to Super Bowl? Are you counting them out? Yes or no?
No, absolutely. They can still make it.
Okay, it's funny because after the Cowboys lost in week 5, y'all wanted me to come up here and just say, oh, were you dead wrong about the Cowboys making the Super Bowl? You guys were dead wrong because they just lost to the 49ers. And then we see the Eagles lose in the same embarrassing fashion. And I think the Niners did even more of what they wanted against this Eagles defense.
They're a better team now than were week 5.
And the Cowboys are a better team. Yes, you're saying the Cowboys are a better team now.
No, I'm saying the Niners are a better team now than they were week 5.
The 49ers were out on the Cowboys. I said versus the Niners in that matchup. I still feel scared to my stomach against the Cowboys facing the Niners.
What are you trying to get at?
I'm saying if you're saying that the Cowboys at that time had no chance to go to the Super Bowl because they lost to the Cowboys, you should have that same energy with the Eagles if they lost that embarrassingly to the Niners.
What's our main takeaway, everyone? That the Niners are the favorites to come out of the NFC, right? Transitive property.
I mean,
wait. No. I think you're getting it. No, me and I believe Dehls said we don't believe in Dallas because not only can they not beat the Niners, we don't think they can beat the Eagles.
They could beat the Eagles,
but that was the whole situation. You're trying to make it something. No, the Eagles lost to the Niners, but we still think they can go. The issue with the Cowboys is we thought they were the 3rd best team in the NFC. That's where the difference is. So I don't know what
the Cowboys can beat the Eagles, and they will beat them this week.
You think that? That's fine. Nobody's saying you don't have to, but I think they won't. So where's the issue?
Can the Cowboys beat the Eagles, Dehls?
Yeah, sure.
They can.
Can they beat the Eagles, Drew?
I
don't think they will. Can they? Sure.
Yeah.
But I, in my heart, don't think. What do you want? You expect
all
me
I'm
to say
saying is that
different?
the Cowboys,
Panthers versus the Eagles, of course,
the Cowboys were called frauds after the Week 5 loss, but now every's saying let's not overreact to this Eagles loss. Well, at the end of the day, both teams got to go through the Niners.
Because the thing is, I'm in the middle of both you guys, and usually that's not how it goes. I'm usually on one side or the other. That being said, when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, the conversations are a little bit different. Because when we talk about the Cowboys, they haven't beat a great team yet. When we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, they've just went on an insane streak of beating the Chiefs, beating the Bills, beating the Cowboys, beating Miami. So that's why conversations are different when we talk about Philadelphia and Dallas. Now, when we talk about Philly versus Dallas, that's a different conversation because we know Philadelphia's defense is not great by any means, can definitely get torched. And with the way that the Cowboys have been playing, it's possible that when it comes down to it, it could be a one-score game and Dallas just edges it out. We know that can happen. But again, let's just take a step back. And now we're talking about the Niners beating the Cowboys' ass. We're talking about the Niners beating the Eagles' ass. Let's just take away the main point here. The Niners are the best team in the NFC. That should be the takeaway, correct?
And I also think it's the questions around the Cowboys where I'm sure Joel is going to try to throw away the road to the Super Bowl, but we saw the Eagles last year go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs in that Super Bowl game where you're a fumble away basically from Jalen Hurts from being Super Bowl champs. We haven't seen the Cowboys in our lifetimes be able to reach a Super Bowl, so there's also those questions around them in playoff time.
They beat Daniel Jones, and then they beat the Niners with no quarterback.
Again, and then they went against the Chiefs and went toe-to-toe with them.
This is my gripe.
The Cowboys would have gone toe-to-toe. They would put up 35 or 32, whatever the fuck it was.
They put up a lot of points.
I don't think so. I really
they
don't.
The Niners with no quarterback. They put up 13. It was 20. It was 19.
I thought it was 17-12.
It was 17-12.
It might have been 19-12, 19-13.
This is my whole gripe with the whole thing because I think what you heard me say, don't overreact, and you just assumed I was talking about the Eagles and the Cowboys conversation. But in the grand scheme of things, no. What I have seen over the past since the game has ended is the Eagles being actually what I've seen over the past 3 or 4 weeks is the Eagles are frauds. The Eagles are overachievers. The Eagles are this. The Eagles are that because they're not winning games at the same efficiency as last year, which would make sense because we didn't play anybody last year.
Which we all said preseason, by the way.
But then on the flip side, Dallas hasn't reached their tough point of their schedule yet. And they are beating up on the bad teams. And because we didn't beat up on the bad teams, they're supposed to be this better team. That's why I'm saying people are overreacting, trying to put the Lions with us, trying to put the Seahawks with us, which is why I'm like, don't overreact to what the Niners did. Because at the end of the day, there isn't 5 football teams. There isn't 3 football teams that can do what the Niners just did to the Eagles. That's why I'm saying don't overreact.
There's not 2 football teams because they face the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins.
That's if you want to, if you believe, which I'm not saying the Eagles and thank God it's so close. I'm not saying the Eagles and Dallas aren't in the conversation. I just believe in my heart as an Eagles fan, we won't lose to them. Can they beat us? Yeah, but I don't believe we'll lose them. That's all that is.
The Cowboys, they beat the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a good team. That defense has taken a dramatic step back, though. I think the Seahawks are a good team, and they probably will make the playoffs. When they face the Rams, Matthew Stafford played in that game, and when Matthew Stafford plays on the Rams, they are a good football team. They were losing games with Brett Ripien, but when Matt Stafford plays, they are good. The Cowboys beat that team. They almost beat the Eagles. They didn't quite beat them, but it was still a head-to-head matchup.
Oh, just like the Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl?
And it came down to the wire. Okay. And all the teams that you're telling me that the Cowboys have had an easy schedule against, the Eagles are facing the same teams the Cowboys are facing, and the Cowboys are dominating all those teams the Eagles are struggling against.
I just said that.
I would rather beat good teams and beat bad teams, but maybe struggle a little bit than kill the bad teams.
We have known
Dallas. That's why this weekend the Cowboys will beat the Eagles.
But Dallas, we've known that
now. They got to prove it.
Dallas for 2 or 3 seasons. We know when they play a bad team, they handle business.
That's never Mike McCarthy.
That's never been a question though. But
you
want us to geek about them beating the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Giants in 3 straight weeks. But yet we supposed to hold this concern because the Eagles struggled but beat the Bills. They struggled but beat the Chiefs. That just doesn't make sense. That is nonsense to me. That I'm supposed to sit here and look at a team and be like, yeah, they won in a weird way. I don't know if I can really look at this team, but yeah, Dallas beat the Panthers. So I'm looking at them.
Also got hurt in that game. Yeah, and the Seahawks game, they didn't. And the Rams was a toss-up game that went down to the absolute wire. They didn't dominate that Seahawks.
You know what doesn't make sense to me? It doesn't make sense that after week 5, when the 49ers beat the Cowboys, Brock Purdy was, if he wasn't at the top of the MVP discussion, he was near the top. He was getting all the MVP hype. And after he goes on the road and throws 4 touchdowns at Lincoln Financial Field, I mean, the guy that you had at least close to MVP in week 5, I'm not hearing a peep out of you when it comes to Brock Purdy MVP.
We're talking about the Eagles.
I'm not hearing a peep out of nobody when it comes to Brock Purdy. It feels like
out of nobody.
It feels like Brock Purdy had a 3.
He's had them.
We haven't heard anything from you either.
No, hey, he has a tweet. You know, Mr. Joel V.
I
Moran.
don't care about tweets
You
right
know
now.
what
We're
he
on pick a
said.
side.
The
He's-
difference, and
Oh,
if you want to say that, if you want to say that to me, there's a difference, Riv. Since the beginning, I haven't been lying about Purdy. At every single turn, whenever Brock Purdy's had a great performance, you've been the one shoving it in my face. But now when he
plays
Purdy,
my team.
he plays your team,
Purdy
you're
was
not
great,
mentioning
but
nothing
this
about
was
Brock
his best
Purdy.
game. This was Purdy's arguably best statistical game, but this was
It wasn't.
this was not
The
his
Cowboys
best
game
ever.
was more impressive than this one.
So wait, you are
So you're telling me no? It's funny because this game statistically was great for Purdy, but you know when you watch it, the eye test, it wasn't that phenomenal.
He didn't make a lot of high level throws.
It's
He has
only
in the past.
it's like you know that's what I've been telling y'all about Purdy, but whenever I said
No.
it, I was labeled
He
as
still
a
has-
hater.
no,
when I
Purdy,
said it.
Purdy has made high level throws
still
in
could be
games
true.
this season.
That-
I don't think in the Eagles
You
game
are-
he
no,
made
no,
that
no.
many high level throws. It was a lot of
Wait a minute.
200 yards. Yeah.
So you're confused that I'm not geeking about a man that just destroyed my football team. That's
I
your
haven't heard
confusion.
an MVP.
Yeah,
whisper
because
about
they
him out of
just
you
put
in weeks.
30 on my teams. Like they just destroyed.
Purdy
I don't
didn't-
have anything to say
But you
right now.
said
when
before,
the
even
Dolphins put 70 on the Broncos, I wasn't that loud.
But
not
you,
gonna be lying about it.
you said in the past that you want the Eagles to win, but you're rooting for Purdy.
And
You
yeah,
hope
and
he does well.
Purdy did,
He did well.
Purdy did well, but we are talking about first of all, we were talking about the Eagles and the Cowboys matching up. So it had nothing to do with the
Does
numbers.
Purdy have a better
Listen,
MVP case?
Are
than
you surprised
Jalen
that
Hurts?
this just happened?
It's just insane.
Wait,
to
are you
me. Like,
surprised that it
I like
happened?
he flipped it in an insane.
Did
Yeah,
Brock
I know.
Does Brock Purdy have a better MVP
I
case than
guess.
Jalen Hurts?
What?
Does Brock Purdy have a better MVP's case than Jalen Hurts?
Nah, I think it's similar. I think they're all Hurts.
I still would say
Tua.
no.
Who has the better MVP case, Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Why does Jalen Hurts have a better MVP case? Tell me.
Well, one, his defense is terrible, and if he doesn't play well, the offense and just the team as a whole doesn't have a chance to win.
Does Purdy have any game winning drives this year?
That's odd because
Doesn't really need to.
versus the
That's what I'm saying.
Bills, the defense, their blitz led to the miscommunication and the Josh
They allowed
Allen
31
rush
points.
throw.
But if
Purdy has
Jalen
no
Hurts didn't turn
game-winning
it on,
drives, no fourth quarter comebacks. He like the Niners dominate most of their games.
Versus the Eagle. I mean, when the Eagles faced the Chiefs, they allowed 0 points in the second half. When they faced the Patriots, their defense is what got them the victory because the Patriots defense held the Eagles to multiple 3-and-outs in the second half, and the Patriots had chances to score. Their defense came out on top.
Against the
When they
Patriots.
faced the Cowboys were in the red zone at the 6-yard line, and the Eagles defense is the one that made the stop that held the Cowboys scoreless in the red zone that led to that Eagles victory. You can count half the games for the Eagles that while the points, they have let up a lot, they've made timely plays at the end of them to win them those football games. So I don't
What
think
does that
that
do
it's
with
just
Purdy,
the defense
though?
is terrible because I think Purdy's MVP case is actually much stronger than Jalen Hurts.
Why?
He's first in quarter QBR. He's first in passer rating.
Tua
He
was
has
the
a much
same
higher
way week
EPA.
5, and you did not care.
He has a much
Purdy was
much
the
higher
same
completion
thing week
percentage.
5. He didn't care.
Jalen Hurts is not playing.
Nah, you're
a-
flipping, bro. You're
Jalen Hurts is
flipping
not
so
playing
bad.
better at quarterback than Brock Purdy right now. He is not. And there's
Oh
no
my God.
argument for Jalen Hurts over Brock Purdy in the
This is
MVP
hilarious.
discussion right now.
I was wondering
All the
which
things-
way you were going to
all
go.
the things, all the
Didn't
things,
see the-
You
I
had
didn't
to,
see
you had
this
to
one
admit one way or the
All the
other.
things-
The system quarter. You know what I mean?
all
Like,
the things you can say for Brock Purdy, he has great weapons. He has a great running game. He has a great coaching staff. You can say the same thing for Jalen Hurts.
He has a great coaching staff?
Nick Sirianni's a great coach.
people
Yes,
are calling
he
for Brian
is.
Johnson to be fired.
Brian Johnson, I don't think
He
he's
calls
been.
plays.
I don't think he's been the best this year. But some people have argued with me that the Eagles still host a top 10 offense. Ultimately, the Eagles have AJ Brown, one of the best receivers in the game. Devontae Smith, a great receiver. They have the best offensive line in
Now
football.
Brock Purdy
So
has an
when you
MVP
talk about
case.
when you
No,
talk
not
about
just an MVP
when you
case,
talk
a
about
better
the
MVP
fifth most
case than
valuable
Jalen
player on
Hurts.
his team now has an MVP case. This has come full circle. Oh
I'm
my!
just saying he has a better
fucking
case
God.
than Jalen Hurts.
We were yelling
a better
at that.
case than Jalen
That was
Hurts.
in that same exact
I know,
spot.
I know.
He
That
has a
man
better case
told
than
me
Jalen Hurts. That's what I'm
Brandon
saying.
Ayuk was more valuable, and
Brandon
now
Ayuk
all
is
of a
very valuable.
sudden
Yes.
he has a case for
I knew
MVP.
he had to pick a side
and
this
I
second, so
think
he
he
had
coming.
to.
And I
See,
think-
because
you know what I
the
think
numbers
also?
shit is dumb because he's thrown out numbers all season long for
He's throwing-
Purdy,
he don't
for
care about
Tua. He does not care about numbers. Mahomes is MVP with bad
Tua has a
numbers.
better case than Jalen Hurts, yes or no?
Who?
Tua has a better case than Jalen Hurts, yes or no?
Yes, he
Oh,
does.
consistent. I'll give you
Because
that.
Jalen
He has
Hurts-
to be-
He has to be.
Catch him there.
We
You
don't-
rather hate
it's
on
not-
Jalen
it's not-
Hurts than
it's not
Tua.
'cause I
That was
have to be.
flipping.
It's not because I have
I
to
don't
be.
know.
It's because
I really don't know. What Jalen
Jalen
Hurts do
Hurts,
to you?
Jalen Hurts is the
He's been
most
tweeting a lot
overrated
about it.
quarterback in the NFL.
Jalen
That's
Hurts
the
needed a
truth of it.
hater. He had to step up.
Jalen
He's no
Hurts.
longer
we,
Purdy.
we had a would you rather last week, and you basically claimed to be a top 7 quarterback.
Jalen Hurts, because I say he's overrated because there's some people that want to push him into the top 3 discussion. He is not there. He said he would take over Joe Burrow. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Is asinine.
He's
But
still been awesome this year.
Jalen Hurts is
He's been
getting
really
hyped
good.
up because in 4 playoff games, he's been great in one of them. He's been average or below average.
And
in
the
3 of
only
them.
one that he was
In the-
good
in
in
the
was
run
the biggest game of his career.
Nick
biggest
Foles had his best game of his career in the Super Bowl.
And with
What are you
the
talking about?
Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Foles played some high-level football.
Bro, can you give
Jalen
context to those games?
Jalen Hurts' path to the
Can you
Super Bowl
give context to
was
those
Daniel
games?
Jones Giants was 49ers with no quarterback. You just saw what the 49ers with the quarterback would do to the Eagles. They would smack
Can
them.
you give context to those
No,
games?
you
The
know,
first
you wanna-
playoff game was before the breakout. His first year started against Tampa Bay. The second game was against Daniel Jones. They win by 40. Hurts does nothing. The third game, Brock Purdy gets hurt. They win by 40. Don't have to do anything. The game Jalen Hurts has to show up against the Chiefs. He balls the fuck out, and they lose by a field goal.
That was the reason why I don't want to use context is because you're the same guy. You're the same guy that said Joe Burrow's playoff run wasn't impressive, and what he did with the Bengals is way more impressive than what Jalen Hurts did with the Eagles. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Jalen Hurts
Joe
in the
Burrow- hold on,
Super Bowl
respect Joe
cleared
Burrow.
what
Don't-
Joe Burrow
what are
did,
you
bro.
doing?
Joe
What are you
Burrow did
doing?
not have a game like Jalen Hurts in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
but Jalen Hurts in totality is a better playoff performer than Jalen Hurts, and that's a fact.
Jalen Hurts.
Look at the numbers.
They're up
Look
by
at the numbers.
Look at
Look at the numbers.
40.
Wait, does Joe
They're up
Burrow
by
have an
40.
offensive line like Jalen Hurts? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no? He doesn't.
He has
Is it-
Jamar Chase.
is he
He
have
has
the better
T.
team?
Higgins.
We have
He had a defense that was locked
We have the
in.
better team.
And Jalen
That's it.
Hurts has A.J. Brown, who this
Yeah.
you can argue is better than Jamar Chase. He has Devontae Smith, you
At the
can
time,
argue
no people had
is better than T. Higgins. He has Dallas Goedert, who's better than any third option on the Bengals. So what are you talking about?
Tyler Boyd, respect him.
Tyler Boyd is good. I think Dallas Goedert is a bit better of a
on,
pass
Tyler
catching
Boyd.
option.
Talk about that defense that was locked in for him.
But I think
Talk about McPherson.
this is my thing though, because whenever it comes to Jalen Hurts, everybody wants to dismiss the cases of Brock Purdy and Tua, and they want to say their system.
You're them.
Talk to
You're
yourself.
them.
I'm a grown
you're
man.
them.
I've
to
repented
yourself.
from my sins. I own a Tua Tagovailoa shirt.
You only did it to
Santos
hate
gave it
on
to me,
Hurts. That's the
And-
only reason you did that.
and Brock
My
Purdy.
stomach.
Giving,
I'm
Brock
giving
giving praise.
Brock
I've never
Purdy is-
seen this. Rib, I've never seen
flipping
this.
the turn
He's
with Brock
giving
Purdy.
praise out of hate.
Brock Purdy
I've never seen
is
this in my life.
My stomach hurts. I can't
Brock
believe
Purdy
this.
is turning me
quarterbacks
into a
because he has to
believer.
hate someone else.
Brock Purdy's turning me into a
We
believer.
tried telling you
And now
about
let-
Brock.
Okay, listen, and
Can
I'm
you
telling
give-
you about Brock,
can
and
you
you're
give me
trying to
that?
dismiss him
Can
all
you
the
give me
time.
that? Can you give me
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay,
Even
that's
though
all
you
I
mentioned
needed.
nothing about Brock
That's
Purdy's
all-
MVP case since
I've
week
mentioned
5.
it for 7 weeks.
Since
Yeah,
I don't
seven
think
weeks.
since I don't think Brock
Very
Purdy's
minimal.
MVP.
You
Minimally.
was up here. You
Very
thought Sam
minimally.
Darnold was going to take his spot at one point.
I said that's
the
a scorching hot
audacity
take.
of you to now be
No,
a
you were
fan.
saying
I
that
said,
we-
that's crazy to me, bro.
Bro, gave me another concussion. He said, it's Darnold's time. He's taking the job and not looking back.
Crazy to me that you were like.
I
what
never
are we
said he was
doing?
not looking back. I just said that Sam Darnold, I think he will play well if he gets the opportunity. And I still think that Sam Darnold will play well under these circumstances. All I'm saying is that when it comes to Tua and Brock Purdy, everybody dismisses their case because of the system and
Everybody
because
and
of
Joel.
the talent
Everybody and
around
Joel.
them. But when it comes to Jalen Hurts, nobody's dismissing his case. Nobody's saying, well, he plays with the best offensive line in football. Well, he plays with a
Nobody
top 5
says
weapons
that.
group
Nobody
in football.
says
Well,
that.
he has a great coaching staff. You know, after a game where he didn't even play that well, Drew has the audacity to prop him as the second best quarterback. It was a joke.
He
It was
played.
blasphemy.
Did he
It
not
was
play?
an absolute joke.
Joe,
It was a joke.
No, Riff. Because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just he singled
You
me out
even
there.
he even said,
Do you
what did-
stop talking
what
ever?
did- what did you say?
Fucking finally stop
You've
talking.
been
I get
talking
a
for
chance to
58
talk.
minutes straight.
He never stops.
What did Drew say? Drew said, I have no reason.
Can
This is
I
my gut
please?
feeling.
Yeah.
This is how I
What do you
feel.
mean? That's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
no analysis of
okay,
how you feel.
Drew, the floor is
I'll
yours.
let you
I
talk.
have no reason. That Joel kills me, and it must
He's
be the
lying
weed.
again?
It must be the weed.
He said it.
Stephen A. Smith, he's up to something. Stay off that shit. Your memory really is so foggy. When you say I don't have a reason, that's not at all what I said. I said that after this game, my thoughts are as concise as can be, because when Jalen Hurts isn't on, they don't look like they deserve to be on the field with other top competitors. But when he's on, they go and they win games against the Chiefs, against the Bills, Miami, against the Cowboys. So if you're going to say that is what I said, again, you piss me off when you do that because you lie. When all I said was in the second half, when he came alive, this is the Eagles that we know. He is the MVP because when he's not playing at this level, they don't even deserve to be in these conversations. He had himself a baller-ass game in the second half and overtime versus the Bills.
I can't.
Drew,
Don't fucking lie on my name. That shit pisses me off.
I'm not lying. Coming into the season, who was your second best quarterback in the league?
At the time.
Josh Allen?
Was
Justin
it-
Herbert?
It was Justin Herbert. Last week, after Jalen Hurts had a game versus the Bills, I said, "Why is Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert?" You said,
No,
You
I
called
said
You said
you
vibes.
got no.
did.
That's
"You
not,
said vibes." You
no,
didn't have
that's
it.
He
not
did-
what
he
I
said- he
said.
said hands
No,
up.
I said you
Got
got
You
me
did say that.
because I flipped on that opinion
Yes, you did say that.
because Jalen Hurts the last 2 seasons has been playing high level football. I saw him play in the biggest game of the season. You could say he played better than Mahomes. I feel that way. You feel differently. Let's not different conversation. And then he carried it over into this year, and we've seen him progress as a passer. That's why again he's playing winning football. He's progressed and he's playing at a high level.
You saw the Super Bowl performance and still had him behind all those guys.
And then he did it again this
He
season.
hasn't been incredible this year.
He's been
He's been pretty good,
He's
bro.
been
He's been
very
pretty
fucking good.
This shit is insane to me. It's so insane to me because, and this is why I needed us to win so badly. We needed this win more than the Niners because I knew if we would lose, no matter how we would lose, the conversations after that loss were gonna get disgusting. And what are they doing now? They're getting disgusting. Now all of a sudden, a Tua hater is a Tua fan and he's an MVP.
I'm not a Tua
now
fan.
all of a sudden, a Purdy hater that has been arguing with me for damn near
That's really the
3
most surprising
months
part.
is now saying he has a better case than Jalen Hurts. When at one point, this man told me, fans, this man told me to my face, I was sitting in Dehls' seat. He said Brandon Ayuk was more valuable than him. He was even trying to say, well, maybe Javon Hargrave. He was trying to tell me that. And Drew was sitting there face to face, like, what is he doing? And now all of a sudden, he has a better MVP case than my quarterback. Do you see what's going
Well,
on?
for one,
This is
Shit is
insane to
gross.
me. I don't know
Just
what's going on.
just because I say
I'm
Tua
appalled.
has a better MVP case than Jalen Hurts does not mean I'm a Tua fan.
What's your top 3 MVP candidates?
My top 3 right now? I think Dak Prescott is number 1.
Why?
Because he has better numbers than Tua. He has better numbers than Jalen Hurts.
So marginally.
I literally looked at it. I looked at it.
But what is the MVP race at this point? What is it, Drew? Is it marginal or is it not?
It's all up in the air.
It's marginal.
There's like
Okay,
5 guys.
so
in the
that's why
conversation.
the
who's
numbers
2?
matter.
Who's 2?
Number 2, I
don't
would
wanna say,
put.
but
Go
he knows
ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
You have to
You
put him up
have
there.
to.
It's either Lamar Jackson or
So Lamar should be 1.
is Brock
What's
Purdy.
Lamar's case over Jalen? It's the same.
Wait.
It's the same.
Lamar's numbers are not breaking records.
Yeah, wait,
He's
hold on.
not top of the
Here's
league in
my thing.
anything.
Here's my thing. What's Dak's case over Lamar, and why can't?
Dak's
Why is it
putting
the
up
same?
numbers.
Why
I'm
is it?
fine with Dak over Lamar.
But then why
I'm
isn't
fine
Brock?
with that.
Why isn't Brock over Lamar?
Well, Dak Prescott, here's one thing. He doesn't have the offensive play calling of the 49ers. That's one. So let's just compare those.
You're a big Mike McCarthy guy.
I am, but you thought Kellen Moore was better, right? And
I
you
did.
thought the Cowboys would miss the playoffs this year.
But
'cause
that
of Mike
doesn't
McCarthy.
have to do with anything that he just said.
But this is
This has nothing to do with
This
that.
is crazy.
Cowboys missing the playoffs.
He had a hot take. He said Kellen Moore, Justin Herbert with Kellen Moore MVP, Cowboys with
the
McCarthy,
TikTok?
no playoffs.
Okay,
That's
you
what
call
he
it
said.
TikTok.
He used the
Okay.
TikTok.
That's what he
TikTok.
You
said.
think a TikTok is
nasty.
What do you mean?
It's
You
nasty.
use
You got it.
You got it.
I'm
You
not
got it.
arguing. You
Drew,
got it.
You used the TikTok before to
I
say
did. You're
I
right.
said the Chargers
I
would make
agree.
the
It's a
playoffs.
nasty way to go, but it's
But
respectable.
that's why I said
I'll
agree
be
with
saying
that.
anything on TikTok.
Because
I'll keep it
and even when we did our playoff predictions to start the season, I had the Chargers missing.
just like you
when
had
it
Sam
comes-
Darnold becoming the starting quarterback for the Niners is your hot take.
I was hoping so. Yeah,
Who was
scorching hot.
hoping? Oh my
Scorching hot.
God.
Because I like Sam. I want him to get opportunities from him.
Yeah.
When it comes to Dak Prescott,
That's nasty.
Dak
No,
Prescott,
this is arguably the nastiest he's ever got.
Dak
this
Prescott is
uh-huh.
top 5 in passing yards. He's first in passing touchdowns. He's second in passer rating. He's tied first in QBR with Brock Purdy. He's first in passing EPA. He's first in points accounted for amongst all NFL quarterbacks. And this is while he does have CeeDee Lamb, his second receiving option, best one is Jake Ferguson, who has 498 yards on the season. Third best is Brandon Cooks. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, there is not an ultra reliable second option that Dak Prescott can consistently go to. And compare with the 49ers, the Cowboys don't have a consistent running game at all.
So,
all
Does
year
Tua
long,
have an ultra reliable number 2?
Does Lamar have a
Jalen
ultra
Waddle.
reliable number
Has
1?
he been
he
ultra
has 700
reliable?
yards this season.
But has he
Yeah,
been
but he's
ultra
been
reliable?
He hasn't been
He's
ultra
been
reliable,
consistent.
but he's
What about
recently,
but
he's
what about
really picked it
Lamar?
up.
Lamar doesn't. Zay Flowers is
Talk
good,
about
but
it.
he's a rookie.
I'll admit the Lamar pick is more so of just what I'm watching with him. But if you want to just go off of pure stats, I think it's Dak, it's Purdy, it's Tua, and
Purdy's
I
over Tua.
would put
don't
Mahomes,
get it.
and then I'll put
I don't get
Hurts. And I don't know,
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't know. That
skill
sounds
position
about right.
players, Tyreek Hill is more of an MVP than Jalen Hurts. This year, he is.
Wait.
Tyreek Hill has 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns, is off to one of the best wide receiver
What's
seasons
the
of
Eagles'
all
record
time.
with Marcus Mariota?
What is the record right now?
What's the record with
I
Marcus
think the
Mariota?
record where Marcus Mariota is a terrible quarterback, but I still think he'd have him 500.
You're doing it again.
So
He's still
from
having
the best
500.
record in the NFL to 500. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think
MVP
Gardner Minshew would
over
have them
that.
like at 8-4 or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew right now is 7-5 with the Colts, who was Jalen Hurts' backup last year, and the Colts have less talent, and they're about to make the playoffs in the AFC.
Yeah, that Gardner Minshew would have beat the
Dude,
Chiefs and the Bills.
you're
and
doing
the
it again.
Cowboys.
No,
you
probably
do
not.
it.
He beats the other teams, though. That's why I say 8-4. I give him 3 losses right there, or 4 losses.
So the most important wins, like when you're talking about resume statement
So the
wins
Eagles
for
would
all
be
of
the
these
Colts.
quarterbacks,
The Eagles would be the
Jalen Hurts
Colts
has the
with
most
Gardner
statement
Minshew.
wins.
they would be better than the Colts.
A win, they'd essentially be the same, correct?
But ultimately, you're going to have a drop off if you're going from a top 10 quarterback to
Agreed.
a bridge starting quarterback, which is what Gardner Minshew is. But if that gap is I'm at 10 wins to now 8 wins, is that a gigantic gap? The Eagles roster is insanely talented and one of the best rosters in the NFL. Offensively, yes.
All this is telling me is if Josh Allen was like 9-3, he'd be the consensus.
No,
MVP.
Josh Allen, if him being 6-6 is the only reason he's 9.
I feel so bad that I didn't mention Josh Allen.
Well, he's 6-6. So it's
No, I understand why he's not.
Yeah.
But he has the case.
If he had a record,
it's hard to be
he'd
a
be
wild
one.
card
Yeah.
team, not one MVP.
But Josh Allen, I think just his level of play has been better than Hurts this year.
I understand.
I agree.
Josh Allen's been, he would be number one.
Most impressive quarterback in the league this year.
He has been. And I think
'Cause
Justin
Mahomes is-
Justin
I have
Herbert
Mahomes
has
here.
also been one of the more impressive quarterbacks,
Mahomes-
but
Herbert's
his
really good too.
situation
It's fucked.
just isn't ideal.
It isn't great. It isn't great, but 6 points.
Like
I'll be honest.
they beat the Packers if Quentin Johnson makes a catch. The Chargers do. They've lost some games because of the lack of supporting cast around
Cowboys
Justin
was
Herbert.
another one.
The thing is,
And
Herbert
he
has
hasn't
had
done the best job.
I was going to say
Detroit
Herbert has
and
opportunities
Detroit.
down the stretch of the games to
Yeah.
put his team in position to win.
This shit has
Just
become
come
so
close.
nasty.
But even still, like Miami, he puts up 34.
So do you hate Dak Prescott?
No, first month of the season, he was crazy.
Even the Lions.
Do you
so
hate Dak
38
Prescott?
lost.
Do I
That's
hate
tough.
who?
Do you hate Dak Prescott?
Yes, 100%. I hate everybody on Dallas except CeeDee
That's
Lamb.
valid.
And I hate CeeDee Lamb when we play him. Yes, I hate all of them. I
Nothing
hate
wrong
him
with that.
every time we play them. Yes,
wrong
yeah,
with
I
that
hate
at all.
everybody in the Commanders. I hate everybody on Dallas. I hate everybody in the Giants. I hate every single one of them from top to bottom, coach to GM to fans. I hate them all. I hate Drew because he has the Giants jersey on. I hate him when he had that
He has
Dallas
the same
jersey
name
on.
as me.
I hate them all.
That's
That's
Thomas.
what, like, I'm just gonna keep this. I hate him. I hate him. But now you all of a sudden love Purdy, so it's weird to me. I don't know what to do.
I don't love Purdy.
That's backwards.
I just
I
think
don't know.
if you're being objective, he's playing
But
at a better quarterback level than Jalen Hurts.
He's been doing this all except for that stretch. He's been doing this all year.
Yeah, he really.
So where have you been?
He's had
Yeah,
like
you
4
watch,
bad
and I
throws
will
over
never
3
sit up
games.
here and lie and say I watch more film than you when it comes to football. I do not. You watch a shit ton of film. So the fact that you are just coming into this conclusion at this point of the season just proves to me and my whole heart that you're an hater.
I can understand why you feel that way.
Yeah,
And
you're a hater.
you have a lot of context clues to feel how you feel.
You're a
But
hater.
ultimately, when it comes to the Purdy
and
and the Hurts discussion, Brock Purdy these past couple of weeks has been making more high-level throws. And while in the beginning of the season, I had 4 weeks to evaluate what Brock Purdy was and in the Cowboys game. The Cowboys game, I always said, that game was sensational. He played an
agree. You did
A-plus
say that.
game.
But
He
then
made high-level throws.
the game after, you were very critical of him.
Versus the Vikings
Then Cleveland was out.
or
there.
Cleveland.
Both.
He didn't play well against Cleveland.
Yeah, God
He had
forbid.
costly interceptions
Against the Vikings, he did have a
and
good
he had
game.
costly
He had a
interceptions
couple, he had like
against
2 bad throws
against
to
the
Vikings.
Bengals.
But even still, it's just a couple bad throws. He didn't even have like
Ultimately,
a quarter bad play or drive bad play. It's a couple bad throws.
The thing with Brock Purdy is that a 4 to 5 week sample size is different than a 13-week sample size. This 13-week sample size has shown me that he's elevated the 49ers offense. While all these skill position players are great,
Full
and
circle.
they're helping him.
I'm happy you're coming along, man.
They're helping him.
Happy you're
He's
coming along.
also more than just a point guard
Yes.
for that team.
Absolutely.
So that's where I come from. And when you look at what Brock and Jalen Hurts are doing, when you look at
We should be happy.
who's reading the field better, who's more accurate, It's Brock Purdy.
It
Brock Purdy's playing quarterback better than Jalen Hurts.
It came
So
at the
what
cost
number
of
is
Jalen
Brock
Hurts,
Purdy?
but he's given
Dehls,
he's given
'cause it's like
he's given
we-
Purdy the respect
Joel,
he deserves.
I love you like a brother. We can just not go through certain arguments if you just not be a hater. You said what I said literally a month ago. You literally just said exactly what I said a month ago and what I've been saying this whole time, that Brock Purdy also uplifts the Niners. And yet now it took you this long to see it. It just, and now, but of course, it has to come at expense of another quarterback, because now you have to grab your Hayden bag, pack it, put your toothbrush in it, pick it up, take an airplane, and go over to Philly. And now you have to hit on Jalen Hurts.
It's gross.
It's insane how you just pack it, like you have a pack of Hayden bag.
like
The initial
You've been
argument,
tweeting about him like it's insane. Like your tweets are insane.
the initial argument was the
Jalen Hurts
MVP.
wins an hour.
I think even you can give Brock Purdy credit, but even when you look at the 49ers, I think Christian McCaffrey is more valuable to the offense than Brock Purdy. I think
Williams.
I think Trent Williams is more valuable to the offense. I think now that we've seen a 3-game sample size without that chess piece and Debo, who they move around in motion, Debo is ultra valuable to that offense as well.
But last year with Debo on a down year, the offense was still clicking on all cylinders.
It was, and that's the Brandon Ayuk breakout and having George Kittle. I just think that they have 4 All-Pros. I mean, Brandon Ayuk this year, he's getting open at an All-Pro level. Debo's been an All-Pro. Trent is an All-Pro. George Kittle's an All-Pro. So Brock Purdy, I do think, has been playing a better quarterback level than Jalen Hurts. The final boss for Brock Purdy is playing from behind, because versus the Browns when he played from behind, he didn't play that well. Versus the Vikings when he played from behind, he didn't play that well. Versus the Bengals when he played from behind, he didn't play that well. Jalen Hurts has been better from behind. So now
he's been the best.
So right now,
if
you ask me, do I have Jalen Hurts as a better quarterback than Brock Purdy? Yes, absolutely. But we're talking about MVP case here. An MVP case is not always about the best quarterback.
I agree.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is not a top 5 MVP candidate this year. If you want to just talk about sheer value, sure. But if you talk about the numbers, he's not a top 5 candidate. And I haven't been pushing Mahomes for MVP. I really haven't.
You can't.
Been a couple weeks.
That is so wishy-washy. That's a wishy-washy statement. I know you've mentioned him, and you say that you call me out constantly for saying that I don't think he deserves to be in the conversation.
He deserves to be in the conversation, but he's not a top MVP candidate.
He's outside looking.
He's always going to be in the conversation just because of who he is, but he's not a top candidate. So yes, Hurts is a better quarterback, and until Brock Purdy beats that final boss, which we're not sure is going to appear with the Niners' sheer dominance, then I can say he checked off the final check mark to why I still feel some way about
What's
him.
Jalen Hurts' final boss?
Apparently, I don't know.
He got to be better against zone. He got to be better as if
You had to know.
he has to be better as a pure drop back passer. Jalen Hurts drops his eyes way too often and looks to scramble instead of going through his progressions.
He held on the ball way too long in this past game, because you look at the numbers. I think it says like the Niners have like 43 pressures.
And they were just letting him do it,
But
too.
I mean, it was Jalen Hurts sitting back there. So yeah, you get 5 seconds to rush the passer. Of course, you're going to be able to get some pressures. Where's the remote? First time.
I think the remote is by.
There we go. Lock in, Drew.
Hey, when I
keep talking. All right. I mean, listen. We gave this segment the firm 50 minutes I believe it deserves. But Joel, you got your agenda here with the 49ers. There's another agenda over there in Green Bay. Mr. Jordan Love goes up against the Kansas City Chiefs on prime time last night and outduels the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes.
And talking about Jordan Love, Airlocks donated us $5. Shout out to him. He says, Jay Love a dog. 9-8 or 10-7 and making the playoffs. Packers rookie wide receiver room is either number 1 or top 3 most fun wide receiver rooms to watch. Keep up the good work, boys. I love a good old Jordan Love supporter. And Drew, if you could pass me the remote, I could kindly change the picture.
What the hell just happened?
You don't know what you're doing, bro.
Thank you, Mister. He just did it.
Oh, okay.
Now, when it comes to Jordan Love, we all know that he just had an exceptional performance versus the Chiefs. 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, 118.6 passer rating. The question of the topic is, did the Packers find a franchise quarterback in Jordan Love? And, I thought about this topic, and I told you two gentlemen on Finish Reaction Show that I got something special for you guys on this show. And that's something special.
I already know what it is. Yep.
Man,
I knew it.
Apology.
It's time for us to apologize to Jordan Love. My 3 co-hosts have been rude to Jordan Love.
I've been rude.
The Jordan Love apology form, reasons for behavior.
All right, let's see this.
I'll give one of you, Drew. You're first off.
Why am I the first one?
Just hold the paper. You're first off.
Why am I the first one?
You're first off. Check a box, and I
Okay.
got you with the pen as well.
Okay.
You should have grabbed this for Purdy. I'll be
Oh
honest.
man,
I should have grabbed Jalen Hurts last
Yeah,
year.
this is shit.
Right there's the pen.
I should have grabbed this for Tua.
You had your black book. You got
Yeah, your
yours.
black book was.
I didn't get my licks.
All-time great moment.
Reasons for behavior. I called him a joke.
Wow, this guy was really specific. Okay.
He wrote down what we said price specifically.
I thought he wasn't good. Does that apply to you, Drew?
I don't know.
I judged him off of training camp throws.
Okay.
Does that apply to you, Drew?
That does.
I want you to check off the box.
I'm gonna have to apologize for that, I guess. Okay.
I thought Sam Howell was better.
Oh shit!
Is this only for me?
that was specific?
you write
Whichever
only-
own specific.
I'm sorry, a lot of things you need to apologize for. I got
know, we
you.
all have the
I
same,
got
we
you
all have
next, Mr. Dehls.
All right.
I said he will never be a top 10 quarterback.
I'm cool with that. God, I can live with that.
What are we apologizing for there?
I thought he wasn't good. I think it applies to you too,
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Dehls. That
Yeah,
applies to
that's
you.
fair, that's fair.
And for Riv, the only one I got here is I thought Justin Fields was better. That's the only one. He wasn't
Justin
that
been playing
hard.
high, man. Justin been playing high.
One, I'll say this. Amazing form. Number 2.
Nice picture.
If I have to apologize when, again, I keep saying this every time we talk about this man, that I've been consistent on my evaluation. When he plays bad, I call it out. When he plays good, I call it out. Even when he was playing bad in people's eyes, I was here with you acknowledging when he played good. I will say I've said some things in the past, but as you like to say, I've been given new information. That being said, I'll sign this off the sole fact that this is a good moment. Simple as that.
I will also, because I don't think he's better than Justin Fields, but I
You
will,
still don't think he's better than Justin Fields?
Nah, but I'm gonna sign it for the vibes for sure. Because I did call him a joke, and I did say he wasn't that good. So I got you out of respect.
I
appreciate
said he will
that,
never
Riv.
be top 10. I thought he wasn't good. Sure.
What do you mean? Why are we checking off the top 10 shit?
Top 10's nuts.
You know, you don't have to check it off. I'm just saying those are the reasons that you can check off. There are some that they apply to you. You can check off with flying colors. There are some you still
I
feel
judged him off
lukewarm
training
about.
camp throws.
that was too
Fair
specific.
enough. And that was 4 years ago, by the way. It was 4 years ago. Okay, I'll check it off.
I also never thought
I
Sam
respect
Howell was
that.
better. So yeah, I'm like-
Never. Sam Howell was playing better than him.
but I don't think it's
I
just
don't
a
think
thought
I
in my
agree, yeah,
mind.
no. I probably thought
did.
No, you
No,
might.
don't let him get away with this, Joel.
Howell.
Joel.
Fields. I'll put hand up maybe.
Unbelievable.
Howell. I was
All
never
right,
sold on
no,
Howell
no,
being
no. You're
some
cooked. You're
superstar.
cooked. You're cooked. You're gonna make
You
me
have
go
a
back
clip?
into the
I
files.
need
Of
your
course do.
your signature here, Riv. I need your signature here.
I hereby will respect Jordan Love and will not talk down on Packers. Now, this is where it gets me. Franchise quarterback. I circled that. Now, this is where we can get into our discussion, Mr. Joel. You've been tooth and nail on certain quarterbacks that have played more football than Jordan Love about them not selling you on being franchise quarterbacks. Guys like we just had a whole hour discussion about Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, more importantly to me. And I've called Jalen Hurts and Tua franchise quarterbacks, and I feel like even still you're hesitant to call Tua a franchise quarterback. Now, is it fair of me to wait for you to call my guy a franchise quarterback before I call your guy a franchise quarterback? And if you're going to say no, I'm going to rip this up and not sign it.
Tua is the Dolphins franchise quarterback.
Shake my hand like a man.
I like that. Growth.
And here I am, fine with this.
Growth.
Because I love leveling. With pick a side, when we can level, it's fucking history.
Nah, I think when we don't level,
Here we
it's
go.
history.
All right. Done. Okay. I still think we need more than just 13 games. However, he's looked awesome the last 3 weeks. 9 touchdowns, 0 INTs, like you mentioned in your winners and losers. And the passes that he was making last night, this is why this is so much more significant. Like you already said, against the Chiefs defense, who's been the main reason Kansas City has been so awesome this year.
Let me get my licks.
Patrick Mahomes finally doesn't have to completely carry this team because the defense is playing at that high of a level. But Jordan was just taking what was there. And that's what you can ask in a young quarterback only. Don't try and play hero ball. Just take what the defense is giving you. And that's exactly what he did yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs. One thing I will say, outside of just Jordan Love, it goes hand in hand with Christian Watson's ascension this season, where the last 2 games, we finally see Christian Watson play some high-level football, and it sucks. And I'm interested to see how they play moving forward, how long this hamstring injury is going to linger with Christian Watson. Because coming in, we felt like that would be the duo. That was the 2 guys that we'd look at that would be the main part of this offense. Jaden Reed's been really, really, really good for them. Dontavian Wicks, you keep mentioning, that's your guy, Dontavian Wicks, no doubt about it. Romeo Doubs has gotten to the end zone a good amount of time, but I still think the X factor in this offense is Christian Watson, outside, of course, Jordan Love, who is the quarterback, and it all revolves around him. But the big plays are where Christian Watson thrives, and we've seen that the last 2 weeks, 2 touchdowns against the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, respect where respect is due. I've stayed consistent. I feel I've been consistent, and it's unfair you single me out the way that you just did, but I am a good sport, and I am going to sign my Jordan Love apology for him.
Listen, I'm sorry, Drew. It's just I remember when you called him a joke in front of my face.
Fucking 3 years ago.
I remember
before
when
he even played a game.
and you called him a joke off a training camp throw
It was
that
bad.
applies to you.
Joel, the training camp throw, the video I'm talking about.
I know.
It's bullshit.
But for that, it wasn't your sole reason. For that to be the sole reason he's
it
not a friend with
wasn't.
that's kind of crazy.
I thought Sam Howell was better. I thought that was a good
That's
one
still
right
up in
there.
the air.
Is it?
I didn't check it
I don't
off.
know.
I didn't check it off.
I thought he wasn't good. That was definitely
That's
you at a
fine.
certain
That's
part of the
fine.
season.
That's fine. Although in the beginning of the season, he wasn't that good. True or false? That's
he was
it.
good. To start the season, he was. He
He had-
wasn't.
he had a-
I'm-
he
to
He
start the
was throwing a lot of touchdowns.
To start the season, he was.
Throwing a lot
Then
of
in the middle,
touchdowns.
the Raiders and the Lions game were bad games. Outside of that, I don't think he played bad against the Broncos. I don't think he played bad against the Vikings.
Did I say he played
I
bad
think-
against us?
No,
Did I say he played bad against the Vikings?
no. So you're telling me there's only been 2 games of the season where Jordan Love has been bad.
The
in my
Raiders,
opinion.
but the Raiders was bad.
It was bad, but 2 out of the 12 games this year, he's been bad. I feel like that's not
I
fair
agree.
to just say he's not good.
I
'cause
agree,
of that.
but again, when it's your first year starting, you just have to go based off what you're watching.
if it's first year starting, I understand.
That's
And-
all that it
and now-
was.
This is
To
first
say,
year
and
starting.
listen, the only reason I'm checking off, I thought he wasn't good, was because we hadn't seen it. And the one time we did see it, well, 2 times, was that Chiefs game where you mentioned he had it circled on his calendar for a reason. And then that Philly game where he had what? 2 drives? A drive? And he looked good.
Here's why I feel so passionate about this.
Oh, you
I
should.
feel so passionate about this because I don't think people understand how hard it is for a player to live up to a Hall of Fame quarterback standard. They drafted Jordan Love. He was scrutinized. He was labeled a bust before ever given a chance. He was labeled a waste of a pick. In his first season as a starter, the Packers prop out the youngest offense in NFL history, who early on in the season had a ton of miscommunication issues, but it was all blamed on Jordan Love. That's why I feel so passionate about this. Any other quarterback that has receivers, a ton of receivers that haven't proven themselves, that has an offensive line that can't run block, that doesn't have a running game, there would be a bunch of excuses for them. But because it was Jordan Love, and because it's its 4th season, and it's because we expect him to be already great from day one because he had time to sit, he didn't get that same leeway that other guys got. He didn't get that same excuse card of the situation wasn't all the way good around him. And now when he's playing fantastic and Matt LaFleur's coaching great, the weapons are playing better, the offensive line is playing awesome, he is still the biggest reason why they're having success offensively. And the Packers right now are not where they are if Jordan Love is not playing great football.
Most definitely.
I know all too well as a Jets fan that you can have everything around a quarterback. If the quarterback is not that good, then you're going to waste 2 to 3 years of your franchise. Jordan Love, he had 2 games that were bad, but now he's proven to be a great up-and-coming quarterback. And I think right now, if I'm ranking him, he's a top 15 quarterback. And if you tell me right now, gun to my head, are you choosing Jared Goff for Jordan Love long-term? I would choose Jordan Love for the upside.
That makes sense.
I would choose Jordan Love. I think right now in the
Anthony
NFC,
Richardson, Jordan Love, long term.
I'm going with Jordan Love.
Mm.
I'm going with Jordan Love.
He was your QB1.
That's the only reason I ask. I'm not saying this to try and like get you or anything. I
know.
understand
I'm
you
going
like
with
both
Jordan
those
Love.
guys. Mhm.
Jordan Love, what he's shown me, Anthony Richardson still has to do that. But I think right now, when you look at the NFC quarterbacks, you got Dak Prescott, you have Jalen Hurts, you have Brock Purdy. I might be missing somebody. Matthew Stafford, number 4.
Kyler, yeah.
You got Kyler. Really, Jordan Love could be a top 6, top 7 quarterback in the NFC. And if you're asking me, Kyler or Jordan Love, I still respect what Kyler Murray's done, but it's not crazy to say that you would take the high-end traits with Jordan Love and what he's shown these past couple of weeks.
Now he does. The same age.
And I tried to wean out the game after. I went from the game after the Raiders so from that game versus the Broncos on. We're talking about Jordan Love, who's been top 5 in EPA plus completion percentage over expected. We're talking about top 5 in adjusted EPA adjusted EPA per play, top 3 in EPA per play. In terms of success rate, he's top 8 in completion percentage, which has really been the one thing that has been kind of holding him back. He still is at a respectable 68% from then on, which is drastically better than what his raw number are at this point in time. So credit to Jordan Love. Again, he's gotten better as the weeks have gone on, and it's been evident, more importantly, in these last 3 weeks and against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I appreciate you guys for signing the Jordan Love apology form. It really means a lot to me because I've been waiting 3 years for Jordan Love to play quarterback in the NFL. And I'm finally glad this came. And you know what?
It was low-key at the same day that I got the same statement that Tua Tagovailoa is the Dolphins franchise quarterback. It's a huge day. December 4th, 2023 is a huge day.
2022, this season, Jordan Love, 12th in yards, tied 5th for touchdowns, 11th in big-time throws, 29th out of 40 quarterbacks in turnover-worthy percentage plays at 2.5%, 15 in QBR, 10th in EPA, and he's projected to finish this season with 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, and a playoff appearance on top of that. These Jordan Love apology forms will be available via Twitter. You guys can go get them. I'll post it today, and you guys can sign it for yourself because these fine young gentlemen, they signed it, and it brings a smile to my face. It really does. Talking about bright futures, because the Packers, I think we can all agree, have a bright future, especially when they're led by Mr. number 10, Jordan Love. Is there a team with a brighter future than the Houston Texans moving forward? And I guess before we answer this question, we can kind of dim down the list of teams that we're classifying as teams with bright futures.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of like the teams that are ready contenders, right? Like, so I'm throwing out like the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Niners, like they're here now. They have bright futures. So I'm thinking of younger teams,
Colts,
right? Thinking about the Colts. I'm thinking about, are the Jaguars in that conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, Jaguars in that conversation.
Basically, a whole division except the Titans.
Chicago Bears, who are going to have 2 top 5 picks potentially this year with some cap space.
I got a hot take. I got an overreaction. Later.
Oh, later. Okay. Who else? Those were really the 3 names that I had, or 3 teams I had. Was there any other? Because
Atlanta, do we think Atlanta could be in that conversation?
They don't have quarterback figured out, and
they do have figured out.
They do have Bijan, Pitts, Drake London. I think Jesse Bates is still on the young side. AJ Terrell is still young.
I would still count the Falcons as young because they still are missing their most important piece, which is
Carolina, but they're ass. But of course,
they have their future's not bright though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just naming teams that.
I think Atlanta's future's bright. They're just a quarterback that can throw the ball on a consistent basis away.
It's hard to get that because they're going to be they're competing for the division. They're in first place right now, so their pick stands is in the 20s.
Does young only mean that your quarterback's young? Because you look at this core on the offense, it is relatively young. But let's say the Falcons,
even Desmond, he asked me, he young.
But I only say that with the idea. Let's say the Falcons go and are aggressive at Kirk Cousins. We're not calling them young because they have Kirk Cousins, correct? But even though Bijan is still in his rookie season, Drake London year 2, Kyle Pitts in year 3, 4, one of the two. So you look at the team, and the majority of it is still young. The core of it's young. I would
consider them young.
I still would too.
That makes sense. I only have 3 teams as teams with the brightest future.
Agreed.
Young one.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans, of course, we're going to talk about them. The Colts, because Anthony Richardson's coming back, and the Packers. Outside of that,
the Jags.
Okay, I think you have to put the Jags.
The Jaguars are a team with that I feel confident because of Trevor Lawrence, but they sold out last offseason in free agency, and they're not going to have much cap space moving forward to improve this roster. And Trevor Lawrence's contract is coming up. So that worries me about the Jaguars' trajectory when we're talking about their future, because they're going to have to really nail their draft picks going forward to surround Trevor Lawrence with talent.
To be fair, though, the Packers are also going to have to pay Jordan Love in a year, basically, and they're really not known for acquiring free agents. They do a lot of it's homegrown, it's draft development, so they'll also have to hit on their draft.
So let's lock in on the Texans and the Colts.
Okay,
like, let's dive in deep into the, let's Shout out to Green Bay. You know, we gave you the apology. I know you about to cry and shit because you're feeling all. You know what I'm saying? But let's lock in because this is the division I feel like that can become one of the best divisions. It's arguably been right now a top 3 division in football. So this is division that I think we can talk about because this is a division that could potentially be the best division in football. We have AR, who unfortunately we didn't get to see him a lot this year, but what we have seen is inconsistent but electric. You know what I'm saying? Then with CJ Stroud, he's been undoubtedly the best rookie quarterback in the league, arguably a top 15 quarterback right now as a rookie. And then, of course, Trevor Lawrence. But just Houston Colts, they cut Shaq Leonard. They had the situation with Jonathan Taylor at the beginning of the year. He came back. Zach Moss was doing his thing. Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, they've been good. EJ Speed has actually been pretty solid. I had to look up some numbers. He's been a beast. I've been doing my thing.
Kenny Moore, Alec Pierce been cooking.
Kenny Moore is a photographer too on the side.
I saw that.
Shit is dope
for the Pacers, right?
Yes. So shit is dope. But Colts, Houston, I think they got D'Amico. Colts got Shane Steichen. So it's like this is like the real conversation because I feel like these two teams have the coach, they have the quarterback, the young quarterback, but I think, and they also have the young wide receiver core, like Pittman and Downs are young. You know what I'm saying? Tank Dell, Nico Collins, they're young, and they also have Dalton Schultz. So I think on the defensive side, I think I would lean Houston a little bit. I think they have more young talent. You got Stingley, you got Anderson, you got Greenwood, like you got
Petrie,
you got like, and they got a nice little vets too. They got Nelson, they got Jimmy Ward, so they got some vets out there too. And I think Houston's gonna have some money.
Rankins, that's another one that's been playing.
And Blake Cashman, right?
Blake Cashman, one of the better linemen.
And I think they're gonna have some money this offseason.
Look at us learning defense, man. I'm proud of us. We put our work in.
You're cutting me off.
Apologize.
And you get upset when I do it. Just
hurry up.
Now hurry up. This guy's he's a bit of an R, but we'll continue to, you know what I'm saying? But they're gonna have some cap. They don't have all their picks, but they'll have some picks, you know what I'm saying? So for me personally, and what we've seen from CJ Stroud, I don't think you can go any other way but Houston. I think AR, the potential is booming, but being injured your first year gives a little bit of concern, but I think they do have the talent, and the Colts, they have been trending in the wrong direction in terms of GMs, but this shit, like going in that draft, picking up AR, and then the way they got Shane Steichen, the way they've been outperforming, he's up there for coach of the year. Same thing in Houston, but I think I'd lean Houston just because talent on both sides of the ball are young, plus they have a mixture of veterans, and I love D'Amico Ryan's aggressiveness as a coach, his leadership qualities. So I would lean Houston, but the Colts are right there.
I wish we got to see more of AR because
Sure.
I like Steichen more than D'Amico Ryan's, like the offensive minds. And Bobby Slowick's done a tremendous job, but we've seen, just talking about the Eagles, when you have that great offensive mind, you could have a great team and you could still see regression when that coordinator leaves. So if Bobby Slowick's able to continue to do this, probably it might have to be one more year until he gets head coaching interviews. Who knows? Maybe at the end of this season, he could be a candidate there too. But when I look at the Texans, right, there's a lot of things that stick out that you need to be a really good team in the NFL. You have a franchise quarterback. They have that. You have a franchise left tackle. They have that. You need to have weapons offensively. Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Obviously, no prayers to Tank Dell. Had that, he broke his fibula, right?
Yes.
So he's going to be out for the season. But one of the most electric rookies we've seen in the last few years, and Nico Collins, third-year breakout, being that big body wide receiver, have a nice combination of both size and speed on this team. Then you have a corner in Derek Stingley, who has been banged up his first couple of years in the league, but when he's been on the field, he's been able to show, especially this year, that he could be, one of the better corners in the NFL.
4 interceptions in the last 3 games.
He's been balling, a ball hawk. That was, kind of his thing coming out of LSU too. So I think the only other team that, the Colts are in there, and they have to hit on these guys, because I'm looking at Chicago. You need to hit on quarterback. You need to hit on head coach. But they're going to have a chance to potentially have Caleb Williams, who, listen, I love Caleb as much as the next guy. No way you could say he's going to be better than CJ Stroud the way Stroud's playing this year, right? So
they already hit on quarterback.
They need to hit on quarterback, and you need to hit on head coach. That's why the Texans have that edge.
Chicago.
Huh? Oh, unless you're going with Justin Fields, which I wouldn't call that a hit just yet. But
come on, Dehls, stay with me. Stay with me with something, man.
I'm seeing CJ Stroud like 3 games into his NFL career go crazy. I'm waiting on Fields year 4.
CJ's better,
but no, I think if Chicago is able to hit on those positions, they're going to have cap space. They're going to have draft picks for the future. DJ Moore's he's going to have his best career year ever with Justin Fields. So I do think Chicago's in this conversation as well. It's just historically they have not shown the ability to get really head coach or quarterback right in a long time. But I'm looking at this Texans team. They don't have their first round pick this year. because they traded to get Will Anderson, which was a questionable move at the time. We look at it now,
Home
it's
run.
like home run move. Will Anderson is going to be one of the best edge rushers in the NFL for a long time. But they do have the Browns first round pick, and the Browns pick could end up being higher than the Texans pick this year. They have a second, a third, 2 fourths, $85 million in cap space
We're here.
to use a lot on that defense because that defense still needs work. But I do think if D'Amico Ryans is able to get the talent very similar to Robert Saleh in year 2, I think he's able to turn around this defense and make it into one of the better units in the
And
NFL.
I don't think they need to go crazy on offense. Like, maybe you can get one
The
more
line is solid,
receiver.
the receivers
but,
are solid.
yeah,
Running back, because Devin Singletary and Damian Pierce are not the answer.
Yeah, I think they can go draft, but I think the money should be spent mostly on the defense for sure. But
Defense, sneakily, I keep trying to bring this up, has been pretty good since week 7.
they can be better though.
In terms of EPA per play, we're talking about a top 5 defense since week 7. I
Just
understand
play some
that
tougher opponents,
talent-wise is definitely not the most intriguing, but people were very critical on that Montez Sweat deal. He's been playing some good football for them.
I was talking about the Texans, by the way.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah,
I thought you were
Texans
talking
defense.
about the Bears. But yeah, no doubt about it. Texans definitely could use some extra assistance there, but the way that they just played against the Denver Broncos definitely leaves you a little bit more optimistic about them. Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, the two of them wreaked havoc against my Broncos yesterday. So credit to them, no doubt. And I'm with you. They definitely could use some more pieces on that defense. But talking about the Bears, definitely in this conversation for me. When it comes to head coach next season, I don't think Eberflus will be here. Jim Harbaugh is a legitimate candidate for this job. Obviously, we know what he can do on the professional level. And when you have a potential number 1 pick, which it's seeming as if they're going to have the number 1 overall pick because the Panthers are poverty right now. And with their own pick, we're looking at around, it could be 4 to 7 at that point in time, depending on how they finish the season. So you're going to probably get a quarterback. If you don't think that they're in the position to trade for or to draft Caleb Williams or Drake May, number 1 overall, let's say the Bears do trade number 1 overall pick again. Think about the haul that they would get for Caleb Williams and or Drake May. You got an insane haul for Bryce.
Bringing another player.
But you could get another haul for Jettas would be insane.
Here.
That would be insane.
I keep saying it, baby. Come on.
But one thing you could use to boast up Justin Fields are the numbers that DJ Moore has with him in the lineup and with him without. Now, you also are going from a Justin Fields to a Tyson Bagent. But then there were also people trying to gas up Tyson Bagent a little bit in his time on the field, which I never understood ever. But you have such a good position for the future that you can build on going into next season. You mentioned the cap space that they do have. To me, the Bears need to be in this conversation, but to me, number 1 has to be the Houston Texans if we're not going to include the Jacksonville Jaguars. CJ Stroud, to be in a conversation with top 10 guys in year 1 just does not even happen at all. Even when Herbert was a rookie of the year candidate, we didn't have him in top 10 discussions immediately. But CJ Stroud has legitimately been one of the best quarterbacks this season. He already shows complete poise in a pocket that sometimes it takes quarterback years to develop. He has it off rip. And so that's why I look at the Texans. I look at D'Amico Ryans, and I just see the way that they're handling business this season. That offense is just amazing already in year 1. I got to lean Houston. But Colts, it's going to be dependent on how they progress as a defense because offensively, Shane Steichen has things under wraps. You need pieces on that defense to continue to elevate your team. But you're right, Riv. This division can quickly become the best division in football.
What a plot twist it would be if Jim Harbaugh gets the Bears job and drafts JJ McCarthy number 1.
Oh God,
I don't think he would. I don't think he would do that. I love JJ, but at the same time, now.
Or what if he trades back?
My head to a wall.
What if he trades back and then with the pick he trades back with he drafts JJ McCarthy?
I think without a doubt the Bears' intention will be to probably get a Marvin Harrison. I think that would be the hope to pair Marvin with the DJ Moore.
So what I've been on my locked in on my Bears news and shit lately. They are very interested in keeping Fields, and Fields has been playing well, but Caleb has been propped up. Like it'd be wild if Caleb didn't go 1 with the way he's been propped up over the last 2 or 3 years. Like it'd be insane.
Let me ask you. I'll ask the entire panel. Marvin Harrison goes number 1 overall to the Chicago Bears. Good or bad?
I just think about the haul you could get of draft picks for that number 1 pick. You could set yourself up with so many first-round picks with so many starters, like star-level players.
I just don't think
first-round picks.
Marvin falls past Arizona. Like it depends on top
3. We're talking about number 1. We're saying, would you rather draft Marvin number 1 if you're Chicago, or trade back and get? No,
I'm saying, but if you trade back, there's a chance whoever's at 2 needs Marvin. Like, say for example,
Patriots are at 2.
so if Patriots
they
at
get
2,
they'd
then
get
you
Drake
trade
May.
it. But if a team like Arizona's at 2, Marvin's not going past Arizona.
That's fair.
I don't think it's a bad move by the Bears, but they have to be 100% sold on Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields is terrible. If I were to rank him, I think he's a top 20 starting level quarterback right now. But he's fringe there. He is like the 18th, 17th
If
around
you look at
there.
the bottom 10 quarterbacks in the league this year, it's dog shit quarterbacks.
But then if you tell
staff.
me Marvin Harrison Jr. now goes to the Bears and an offensive coach is now on this team, and Justin Fields has 2 high-level weapons and an offensive-minded coach and a better offensive line in the running game, then we can see a big-time leap from him coming. But they have to pay him pretty soon, and I think that's the major thing. And the most valuable thing in the NFL is having a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal.
Yep.
And if the Bears have a chance to draft Caleb or draft a rookie quarterback that is going to be great on a rookie deal, you always have to take that chance, no matter who you are.
I'm with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd keep him, but you know how I feel and shit.
That's
Or send him to Atlanta.
I think the Texans have the brightest future. Dehls mentioned it. They have everything figured out. Quarterback is figured out, CJ Stroud. He leads the NFL in passing yards right now. The last time a rookie quarterback has done that was in 1939. Nico Collins, he's a great wide receiver.
Who was it?
I have no idea. Tank Dell is an up-and-coming star, even though he got hurt. He's out for the season now. They have one of the best offensive and defensive coaching combos in D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick. Will Anderson, franchise edge rusher. Derek Stingley, franchise corner. And this game is winning in a variety of different ways. They have 4 wins this year where they've scored 30-plus points. They have 3 wins this year when they've held their opponents to under 17 points, which means that they can win with offense, they can win with defense, they can win in any which way. And I think that's what makes their future even more brighter. And they have $100 million in expected cap space this offseason. So you have all these key pillar positions figured out. And with that cap space, you can get even better. That defense can now take a leap. Yeah. You can add a wide receiver. So I think the most talented team is the Texans. Second for me would be the Packers. I think the Packers, with having Jordan Love, in my opinion, figured out already at quarterback, that defense has a ton of first-round picks on it. They have 8 first-round picks that they own in this upcoming draft. They have 3 compensatory ones, so that's 11 total. If they draft really well, which Brian Gutekunst has done in the past, and they develop well, then we could be looking at the Packers as the next young breakout team. And, this year they can make the playoffs. And next year, I think they're going to be vying for the division. So I think the Packers are the next breakout young team in the NFL, along with the Texans.
Especially when the Packers can sign Jordan Love to an extension on a very friendly deal. Mm-hmm. He can ball out this year and ask for his deserved money, but it's not going to be anything crazy because, again, it's only been 1 year. I believe they do have him signed on for next year.
Yes.
But regardless of that, that the contract situation is going to come up soon. But it depends. If he goes crazy next year, he could be looking for some serious money. But at the same time, I think the Packers are definitely in a great situation right now. They have youth on their side, which is always a bonus. And history, it seems to repeat itself with the Green Bay Packers. Moving on from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. In year 4, we see Aaron Rodgers play the way that he does. And what was it, the year after that? He goes and he competes for a Super Bowl. He also did have his best defense as a Green Bay Packer that year as well. Kind of went downhill from there, unfortunately. But here we are now with the Green Bay Packers. When you move on from Aaron Rodgers to a Jordan Love, you see the youth that they have in the offense, but on the defensive side of the ball, right now they're playing with they're playing without Jair Alexander, who's supposed to be their premier corner, who is the premier corner in the National Football League. And right now they're still playing high-level football without him. You see what Rashawn Gary's been doing. You mentioned it yesterday on the Fantasy Reaction show. This defense has a lot of talent on it, and they're missing some guys still without him. So I like the upside of the Green Bay Packers, no doubt about it, but it is going to be interesting to see how well Jordan Love plays, not just to end this year, but next year as well, because if he plays crazy, then financially things get a little bit hectic for Green Bay quickly.
Jeremy Early goes, when my Ravens beat the 49ers in 2 weeks, will y'all finally start respecting the Ravens and Lamar because he's getting a chip this year? You better book it.
The thing is, we haven't had the Ravens lower than 4 in our power rankings.
I was going to say, we've had them for number 1 for multiple weeks earlier in the
year. Respect the Ravens at this. Not everybody, but 3 out of the 4 here respect the Ravens at this table.
What do you mean? Are you singling me out?
100%. I thought I was being singled out.
I don't know.
I don't know. Your jokes
Lamar.
about Lamar have been
Yeah,
nuts.
facts.
I will say I like Lamar Jackson. It's just also, but when we have conversations about you can't trust Tua in the playoffs, right? Or you feel like
I understand that point.
That's the only
You're
reason why I had to get a little
other
toxic.
people know I'm Lamar. Come on, Lamar. You know, it's been
Gross.
some nasty
It's
things
actually
going on.
gross.
He has
And I understand
some
why
of the
you
most
do it.
turnovers in the fourth quarter.
You're very picky on him. I get
Very.
why.
Wonder why.
No, I mean this
I
year.
know why. There's no wonder.
This year, what have I said about Lamar Jackson coming into the year? He's going to have his best passing season of his career. I had the Ravens being 11-6 this year. You like to
Didn't have
throw
them win
out
the
that
division.
hater label without having a lot of facts.
Should have had them win the division, bro. Like me.
No, you're undoubtedly a hater.
because Joe
Yeah.
Burrow doesn't get
Shame,
injured.
man.
14
we're talking
wins.
about the Bengals. I mean, yes, they would.
Never
you know
forget.
what? That's funny. And if Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt last year and the year before that, we're talking about Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens.
So you're telling me that,
Or
when,
if Tyler
when
Huntley
Lamar,
doesn't dive in like this, you know, then the
So you're
Bengals
telling
don't
me-
go far.
when Lamar's hurt, the Bengals win. When Joe Burrow's hurt, the Ravens win. Just kind of a little bit of flip. You know, next year when both are healthy, hopefully Joe Burrow's going.
I hope
He's
we
gonna
do
raise
get.
it.
But the difference is the Ravens still contend for playoff spots when Lamar's out. The Bengals without
Well,
Lamar,
usually
or
the-
excuse me, the Bengals
The
without
Ravens
Joe
are like
Burrow.
8-3 in the
So you're telling me Joe Burrow's
No,
elevating
fact.
a
It's always
worst
that
team.
number.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, my friend. I know Joe Burrow's elevating the worst team. He's that good. Aiden Ramirez goes, how's it going, fellas? To help cope with the Chargers not being good for the foreseeable future, give me your Herbert trade destinations.
Detroit. I think it has to
Herbert
be.
trade destinations. Good lord.
Trade, it'll be one of the craziest packages we ever see.
He's not getting traded. Aiden.
Yeah.
If he did it, Detroit,
Detroit,
picks.
Atlanta.
And you shouldn't want
Um,
him to get traded either.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
If you trade Justin Herbert,
I
understand
trade him in Madden all the
you
time.
are not seeing anywhere near a championship for God knows
You
how
might not
long.
see a championship with him.
Get him a coach that knows what he's doing.
Jim Harbaugh goes to the Chargers, I throw up.
That'd be a
I
good
throw
move for
up.
them.
And Bill Belichick goes to the Chargers, I throw up.
Nick Perez goes, Joel, this Jalen Hurts hate is getting ridiculous.
Fitting.
It
You
was-
average 5 tweets a minute on Jalen Hurts.
Joel, whatever you're smoking, I needed that.
Yeah, for real. I need that too.
This is some good shit. Some chronic.
Actually, I've been sober for a while now. I haven't smoked in a while.
Really?
These are
Fucking
very sober thoughts. I feel actually the best that I felt in a very
I so
long
hate that
time.
for you. I really do.
I felt the best I felt. You know, the Eagles.
You guys want to hear updates on my bet?
Yes. Are you winning?
Oh man, I'm looking fucking great. So on the first bet, Jalen Brown had 6 rebounds. So we're here.
How many
Eh.
points does he have, more importantly?
It's not important right now.
Come on.
So give me a second. Can I just talk to you? And then Halliburton and Fox are supposed to combine for 6 threes. Hallie has 3. So I just need him to get one more.
All
Fox
right.
can give me 2. And then my other bet, Hield and Jalen Brown are selling. They have 1-3 combined. I need 5 more. But Bruce Brown has 3 steals.
Jalen Brown only has 1-3.
And no, he doesn't.
I thought that's what you just
So
said.
Buddy, they both have combined 1-3. I need 4 more. Not ideal. Then Celtics decided not hit threes today. So
I hate to see it.
This week in the NFL, I have a crazy stat. The fewest points allowed since week 9.
You son of a bitch.
The Patriots at 46
way.
points allowed since week
he
9.
decides to talk about them. Really, I'm floored.
They are 0-4 in those games where they have virtually not allowed offenses to score. The 49ers have allowed 49 points since week 9. They're 4-0. The Dolphins have allowed 62. They're 3-1. The Ravens have allowed 66. They're 3-1. The Colts have allowed 67. They're 4-0. The Patriots have allowed the least amount of points of any of these teams, and they're 0-4 because their offense is abysmal.
Now I'll just backpack off that because, hey, great minds think alike. That was also my this week in the NFL. Bill Belichick's doing his job. For all those that have been very vocal and critical of Bill Belichick, his main focus obviously is supposed to be everything. He's also the general manager of the team, but really what his specialty is defense. And what he's been doing on the defensive side of the ball since week 9 has been nothing short of fantastic. That offense is historically bad because for that to be the case and him to be or have in his possession one of the better defenses in football, at least by the numbers, and the offense be as terrible as it is, let's just give a little bit of leeway to Bill Belichick, where at the same time, I understand he's a general manager. He makes those decisions on the personnel on the offense and who is also coaching up the offense. But again, his specialty has always been defense, and it's being put forth that he is obviously the coach of one of the better defenses that doesn't get enough love.
You have a would you rather if I have one if you don't.
I do. Rams wide
You
receiver.
floored me. Usually I have like 3.
This week in the NFL?
Yeah.
No. I skimped
That's
out.
some shit.
I had to make the apology
Did it
for
again?
him.
And guys, let's also stop because I also interrupted Riv, so I'd like to give him the floor.
Again, it's your third time.
Again, I just apologize, so take it or leave it. It's up to you.
I always take it, buddy.
Wow.
Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua had an AC joint sprain. That was pretty much going to be because I was watching the Browns game. But Sean McVay said he's hopeful that he plays this week, and that probably goes into my overreaction. But I have another one, so I'm just going to say that one right now. I think Puka Nacua is better than Cooper Kupp. I'm not even going to sit here and cap to you guys. I watching the games. I think he is a better player than Cooper Kupp right now. I think he's the best wide receiver on the Rams. I think he's been the best wide receiver in the Rams this season. And I think Cooper Kupp's injury has kind of, hindered him a little bit. He's been playing well, but I think Puka Nacua is Stafford's favorite target. He's his best target. And I think he's the best wide receiver on the Rams.
I'll say this. Call me off guard. I love Puka Nacua and the production that he's put forward this season. I'm sorry. I can't say he's better than Cooper Kupp. Not just yet.
It's a good thing I did.
Puka Nacua has been pretty awesome, but Cooper Kupp, we understand when he's at 100, he's in a class that I don't know if Puka Nacua can get to. Although for a rookie season, he's doing something that we've only seen Randy Moss, Jettas, Jamar Chase, those 3. That's the type of elite group that he's in. So Riv, I understand your thought process. That being said, Cooper Kupp put together the best wide receiver season we've ever seen.
Was that 2 years ago?
And the year after that, he kept the same pace until his injury. This year, he came back from his injury and had back-to-back great games and then hasn't been the same since. So, again, there is merit. But with Cooper Kupp back in the lineup, we have seen Puka Nacua be a little bit inconsistent as well. Had the bomb play yesterday for, 70, 75 yards?
buckos.
Yeah, he definitely is a special player. I do believe that. But to put him over Cooper Kupp right now, it's definitely an overreaction.
For sure.
Who's your would you rather?
I don't have it this week.
Oh, I thought you
He
just
did.
said
You did say it. Yes.
I have a would you rather. It's okay.
Wait. I did it last week.
You
No,
did-
I know, but I just asked her. I said, "Do you have a would you rather?" So you
And
said,
you
"Yeah."
said,
I
Oh,
thought you
I
said
heard, do you have it this week in the NFL?
I
That's
thought
what I
that's why I
No, he
said
said,
that.
would you rather?
That's right. I got one this
I
week.
thought we were doing this week in the NFL.
We are.
Yeah, but we always do it. Would you rather?
I'm sorry. I did 2 last week. I
Not
thought
valid. Listen,
you have one.
you put in your work. I
Yeah,
just
I
want to make
appreciate
sure because I didn't want to do 2. I could have saved this for another week.
Oh, okay. Why don't you get the guy over here to do something?
I did it with the Tank Dell, and that video did well. So
Oh,
Wanna
now
slob on
we're,
it now or
we're
later?
comparing videos.
no, that's what I'm saying. I did.
No,
the
no,
Tank
no,
Dell.
no, we're a team here.
No,
We are a team here.
no. He said what he said. He said
You said do something.
and
I
you
did.
said you had to add at the end. Oh, my video did well.
Well, you tried to-
fine.
you tried to tell me to do my job, and I
Got
do.
it. I'm gonna go check the videos that I did, see how they did, and we'll compare.
Did very well.
No, don't give me that. None of that.
All right. Would you rather this week? So
Well, I
the
don't like
Heisman
that.
finalists just got announced. One of the names, Marvin Harrison Jr. So this week, would you rather Marvin Harrison Jr. edition?
We're doing it again.
I got some spicy names. I'm not going to throw out there some Alan Lazard or nothing. I got some real life top 15 type receivers on this list. First up, Jalen Waddle.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
This is gonna get nasty again. Give me Marvin Harris.
Marvin
Here is
Different.
a little conversation.
Jalen
we
Waddle's
can have.
different too.
When it comes to skill position players, we've seen them be able to put up some great
They can
seasons.
translate a little easier.
It's possible.
I like his eyes.
Jalen Waddle. I mean, we're talking about a 1-of-1 prospect for Marvin Harrison.
Bro, he's bigger. He's stronger.
He's a better prospect than Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase was an insane prospect.
Marvin
as
is
well.
huge.
He's fast,
His
bro.
route running, his speed.
What they
his
call him? What they
hands,
call him at Ohio
size.
State? What's his nickname? The guy. What is he?
Are you
called?
gonna give your answers also, Joel?
Yeah, I'll give one.
Dehls, you watch football. What did they call Marvin Harrison at Ohio
His
State?
nickname?
Honda Accord or Maserati Marv?
Oh, facts.
Tough.
So fire. He's better than Waddle.
Let's put a little preface on this too. Jalen Waddle also did break the record for most receptions by a rookie. This is I hate that you
Shout
just
out
said
to the
this.
screen game,
I
man.
was gonna say, bro, the A dot that yours like 8.
Shout out to the screen game.
That's why you give players time to develop, right? That's why you do that.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
What did he say?
Says shout out to the screen game.
That's why you give players time to
So
develop.
who you picking, buddy? You always take.
This is tough, bro.
It's not, bro.
I'm not. Oh no, it's not tough
It's-
because Jalen Waddle didn't put together a historic rookie
I
season.
agree. Marvin can do the same thing.
Depends on what team he goes
It
to.
really doesn't.
I'll go
Before I
Marvin.
have 4 yards, I'll also go Marvin. Smitty.
You fucked me.
I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison
Nah,
Jr.
nah.
But Smitty's another one. You talk about somebody coming out of college. He really broke records.
Yep.
But
Heisman
give
winner.
me Marvin Harris.
I'm gonna go Marvin.
Go Marvin too. Brandon Ayuk.
Give me Marvin.
I'm going with Brendan Ayuk. I am.
Ayuk's been elite. I get it. He's been
His route
amazing
running
this
is
year.
top 3 in the NFL.
Maserati Marv. Give me Maserati Marv.
It's not easy for me, but I'm going with Ayuk.
Let me ask you a question: who's better, Jamar Chase or Brandon Ayuk?
Right now, who's playing better? It's Brandon.
No, he
Ayuk.
asked who's better.
I asked who's better.
Jamar Chase at his best is better than Ayuk.
Okay.
But it's not far off. It's really
that.
not.
I needed that. Marvin Harrison.
It's
I think
It's
Chase
a
is comfortably better than
comfortable
Ayuk.
Ayuk is he's getting into that league.
I think
too.
I would slightly lean Ayuk here, but it's close. Michael Pittman.
Marvin
Maserati.
Harrison Jr.
Michael Pittman is underrated.
I like Michael
Michael
Pittman.
Pittman's upside.
Garrett Wilson.
Maserati. I'll be honest, unless you're like a top 5 guy, I'm really not trying to take you over Marv.
Garrett Wilson's pretty amazing.
Garrett Wilson's my guy. I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Did you take Pittman over Marv?
No.
Oh, okay.
He said that like so ashamed that he would even assume you did. Did you take 1,000-yard receiver over Marv?
I'll go Garrett Wilson
Cooper Kupp.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
at this point in time.
Damn, you said that quickly.
Listen, at this point, Cooper Kupp is suffering injuries. Is he going to be the same going forward? I mean, I'm going
Give
Marvin.
me Maserati Marv.
I'm gonna respect Cooper Kupp.
DJ Moore.
Fuck you, Dehls.
I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm going Marvin too.
You know me, I gotta stay loyal to my guys. Nah, give me Maserati.
Like, I think if the Bears drafted Marvin Harrison Jr.,
He'll be number 1.
we're looking at that receiver room like, yo, Marvin should be better than DJ Moore, even though Moore is great.
I'm going with Marvin.
Chris Olave.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm going with Marvin.
Maserati.
Last one, Keenan Allen.
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin,
Jr.
Keenan's up there in age. Marvin Harris.
All right, here's the way that I'll see it, because Keenan is also towards the back end of his career.
He is. It's not a fair
Can Marvin Harrison have as good of a career as a Keenan Allen?
Yes.
You have to respect the legend.
Keenan's been banged up to a lot of his years.
Not gonna lie, we basically put Marvin in the top 10 as a rookie.
We're
Yeah,
here.
I'm gonna take Keenan.
Is that
Allen.
crazy
How
though?
about, I got an in for y'all. Would you rather Marvin Harrison Jr. or Mike Evans?
At this point,
Again,
Mike
it's,
Evans, Marv.
I'm going with Mike Evans.
It's the same conversation that I was just trying to have with Keenan.
I feel like
He
Mike
just
Evans
put
is better
together
than Keenan.
a Hall of Fame resume, 10 straight seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. From start to finish, he's had 1,000 yards every season. Got to respect Mike.
I respect Mike, but Mike's up there in age. I'm taking Marv.
Again, but
And Mike Evans is still getting open at one of the highest rates. in the
Yeah,
league.
I would
it's
take
just,
Marv though.
will Marv get to Mike Evans' heights?
He can
that's
reach
how
his peak.
You think Keenan Allen's as good as Mike Evans?
As good this season? Yeah, you could say that
You think so?
for sure.
Keenan's
I don't know.
been
Mike,
amazing this year.
Mike Evans has been
Mike has
the
been-
lead.
Here's the
Mike's
thing: they
evolved
have
for
two
sure.
different
Styles,
styles of play. And when it comes to route running, Mike isn't on Keenan's level. When it comes to over the top ability, Keenan's not on Mike's level.
Like underneath intermediate routes, sure, but like deep routes, post route, 9 routes.
So that's what
That's
I
what he said. Yeah.
I mean, Mike Evans is better route running in those areas, and he has more explosiveness.
better route running. It's tough. Again,
Like at 6'4", 6'5", he's 6'5". Mike Evans at 6'5" right now is moving the best he's moved in his career. Like he, am I
I was
bugging?
just laughing. You're like, wow, 6'5". You just kind of got.
I'm so like not moving. Give me Maserati.
He's just so big.
Yeah, that's what. Wait, what?
I would take Marv too.
Wait, why'd you say it like that? Like you
Mike
smiled
Evans?
and said he's so big.
Because
like,
I see Baker just throw it up to him. He can go up there
Yeah,
and
70-yard
grab it.
touchdown. Wow, fucking bro's 30 out
I guess
there.
he's a Mike Evans merchant.
Maserati Marv can come into the league and
Baker's
catch
a Mike Evans
1,500
merchant?
for
I'm
sure.
just joking.
It can be.
His
Listen,
first
Mike
year.
Evans has been that much of a foray.
He's been
for
awesome.
that offense.
Mike Evans is cool.
I hope he gets his bread. He deserves it.
Yes.
He really
with the
does.
Jets.
You got to come to the Jets. You got to go to the Chiefs.
So like you said, Brandon Ayuk like is close to Jamar. So where do you have him ranking in the league?
Yeah, I don't have.
You
that.
lost
Right
me
now,
with that
he's top 10 for me. I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, but Chase might be top 5. That's a
top
gap.
7. I mean, right now, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, just no order.
AJ.
CeeDee Lamb,
Ayuk's better than Debo, like no conversation.
to me,
I think
like what they do as a receiver is not.
I think he's better.
It's not a
I think
conversation.
he's better
Like,
receiver.
Debo he's gonna get his work on like slants versus zones on handoffs, and that's how he
Screens, yeah.
threatens defense. But in terms of just if you line up Debo and Ayuk 1-on-1 against a top end corner, who's giving me the better chance of getting open? It's Ayuk.
Ayuk or Garrett Wilson?
Ayuk.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Ayuk
Ayuk.
Shador.
Yeah, Ayuk.
Ayuk Shador.
Ayuk has everything Garrett has, except Ayuk is a bit bulkier.
He is bigger for sure.
He is a big dude.
So me, I would go Tyreek, Justin Jefferson,
AJ
AJ Brown,
Diggs.
CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs is in there,
Chase.
Jamar Chase,
You said
Okay.
CD, right?
That's
Did you say
yeah.
Tay?
Devontae.
I think right now he's still better.
I think Devontae and Brent Ayuk right now is at least a conversation though. But I
So
think
you have him at 8. Are you kidding?
Take quarterback.
It's not about respecting the greats.
I know
man.
it's hard when you don't have production this year.
Nah,
Like
Tate
Jamar
still
Chase
got it.
Jamar Chase entering this year, I think we all had comfortably over CeeDee Lamb.
So
And now CeeDee has a breakout year.
No,
Burrow's hurt.
I still think Jamar's better than CeeDee Lamb.
I agree.
The thing about Ayuk is when you talk about production, the argument really isn't there. It's just the other things, like how open he gets.
He's
like, how open does he actually
we
get?
talked about in the
He's wide
fantasy
there.
reaction.
You gotta, but
Bro, he was like 47th in target.
Here's the thing, though: the guys,
Like, entering
Ayuk?
last week, we did on fantasy reaction.
the
He's
guys in
47th
the top 5, they have the production and the eye test.
They
So
get force fed though. Ayuk is not getting force fed.
I mean, when you one of them ones,
because against the Eagles, Ayuk could win 1-on-1 all day.
I mean, AJ
they're
gets
just-
force fed, and we have a top offense. When you're
How
nice,
many-
you get force fed.
how
Ayuk
many-
still has the stats, dude.
Ayuk still has the stats, but not like the
This is-
top end guy.
This is his first year having those numbers.
Yeah, like if Ayuk
Last
was,
year, he had 1,000 yards.
Last year, I think he just cracked it.
He
if
did,
I
yeah.
like, with all due
1,000
respect,
doesn't get you top 5.
with all due respect to
Like
CeeDee
1,500.
Lamb and what CeeDee Lamb is doing, you put Ayuk on the Cowboys, Ayuk's production is right up there right now with him. Like I think Ayuk is that great a receiver where you could prop him in anywhere and he's gonna be elite if you have viable quarterback play.
He just doesn't get targeted enough.
Yeah, 47th in targets and
Crazy.
every single metric that I've seen, advanced metric, he's number 1 in openness rating. No, number 1 and number 2 is either Tyreek Hill or him. Number 1 in openness rating.
How many targets does
Okay.
Ayuk have?
Do you want to hear the crazy numbers?
47
No, no.
every
Ayuk
2
really
weeks.
has been insane. 72 targets. He's number 11 right now in terms of yards totaled this season, receiving yards this season at 927. One spot above him at 969. So 42 more yards. Stephon Diggs, who has 49 more targets than him.
No.
42
It's like a yard per
yard
target.
difference and 49 more targets.
And how many yards per reception does Ayuk average? He has
he's
to average
number
about
one.
like,
His yards, yeah, he is number 1 by a decent amount. Actually, no, he's number 2 if we
Oh,
count
Tyreek.
Noah Brown. No,
Oh,
but
okay.
really Noah
I
Brown.
thought it was gonna be Tyreek Hill.
How much
Yeah.
is the yards per target?
It's 18.5.
So you're telling me how many yards is he off Stephon Diggs? It's like 4
I
receptions
said
off
42,
of him.
correct.
Yeah,
For
4
him, it's like
receptions
1 or
off of
2.
him, and he's already catching up. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you put Ayuk on the Bills, he would get his just due and
Nope.
his
And
respect.
do you know who is on this list that needs respect as well? Nico Collins. 16.8 yards per catch, 991 receiving yards, which is slightly more than Brandon Ayuk. He
He's
has
missed the game too, right?
He has missed a game, and then he has quick maths, Drew, 13 more targets than Brandon Ayuk.
So you guys just decided you didn't want to hit jumpers today.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I stopped watching because I was getting annoyed.
Are you guys losing?
Yes, they
we were
are.
down 9 last I saw.
7. I will never. Ever
Joe
bet on you
Mazzulla
guys.
playoff championships just doesn't mix.
I'll be
well.
honest, bro. They're taking contested 3 after contested 3. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Brandon
Damn.
Ayuk is very much an eye test guy.
I'm with you. Yo, what the hell? Jalen Brown has 10 made shots, 20 points.
I don't give a.
Can he hit a
fuck.
fucking 3?
Yeah, I need some threes. Yeah, I need like he 0 for 3. I need you to start pulling them shit.
The audience is seeing how a live bet works. How
Damn.
conservative it is. It's
The
really
other
how
one,
it is.
The other one is good. It's just I want 2K. I
5
want
points in
2K.
the fourth quarter. It's a shame because the ball's going to go to Jason Tatum. Who needs that? And thank God I didn't think about taking his over.
Benedict
JT.
Mathurin's 4
He's the
for
under
6
king.
from the 3-point line.
He's the under king.
Jason Tatum. It's the
Respect
under
him.
game. Crown that motherfucker
Yo,
with
Yo,
that.
they gave him, it was the over under of 31, and he hasn't been consistent offensively.
He's really an under king because I feel like his lines are always way too high.
It's like always 30.
Yeah, his lines are ridiculous where I don't really feel like touching them. Making your case MVP edition. Now, Drew, you've had Tua MVP week 5. You had Jalen Hurts MVP week like 11 or 12, one of those. Right now, you probably have Tua MVP again, number 1. I really don't know. So make your case for your MVP this year.
pretty easy to me. It's Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I'll say this. It's not that easy because you got to respect the other 3 guys that are in this conversation for me. That's going to be Mr. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and my MVP, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, I say this because you mentioned it earlier in the show. This conversation is marginal. So if you want to take Dak Prescott, if you want to take Tua, if you want to take Jalen, this is all marginal. But when it comes to passing statistics, Tua is right there at the top with the rest of these guys. And when it comes down to it, I think that this MVP will be decided in the last few games of the season, which is why it's tough to have this topic right now. I say that with the idea of Dak and Tua have similar MVP cases where they have similar yards, they have similar touchdowns. Dak definitely has the edge in terms of not turning the ball over. That's where he's been better this season. But both teams have not won a game against high-level competition. You could say that Dak has played better against that high-level competition per se, but against the Chargers, I think Tua played better than Dak did. But against the Eagles, Dak played better than Tua did. I don't think Tua had a bad game by any means, and neither did Dak against the Chargers. But that's just the truth of it. But again, the Chargers, we know who they are right now. They're not a good team. So when we have this discussion, I think it is yet to be won. There's yet to be a significant favorite, but I think it will come down to Dallas versus Miami. I think it will come down to Dallas versus Philly. It'll also come down to Miami versus Baltimore and Miami versus Buffalo. The MVP award will be decided in these games, but as of right now, I'll ride with my guy Tua because I believe that he can go and face a Dallas, face a Baltimore, face a Buffalo, overcome that demon in Buffalo, beat the Dallas Cowboys because this defense is finally turning it on and making your case for an MVP when the conversation was supposed to be should a non-quarterback win this award? To me, no. And as great as Tyreek Hill has been, for as awesome as he's been, we're going to have a conversation about him a little bit later. But I am a firm believer that without Tua Tagovailoa, this does not happen. Last year when Tua was gone, neither Waddle nor Tyreek had a receiving touchdown. You see the difference with Tua at the helm. Without Tua, this does not run as smoothly. So to me, it's unfortunate that the MVP has turned into a quarterback award, but very easily it should be Tua over Tyreek, even though Tyreek impacts the game in a different way.
That's fair. I'm standing 10 toes on my MVP, man. You know, you got a lot of MVP candidates out there. Drew's got Tua. I'm sure there's going to be another man in Dallas who gets named at some point who they need to prove it. They need to get that big-time win. They need to go out and beat big-time competition. My MVP's already done that. Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts has those signature wins. He's overcome 10-point deficits against Josh Allen, those Bills, 10-point deficits to Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the world. Right now, we're seeing second most total touchdowns in the league, sixth in total yards passing plus rushing. He also beat the Dolphins by 2 touchdowns, just to throw that in there because that can't hurt, right? That's another top-end team who's fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC. Let's not forget who has the best record in the NFL, too. Who has the best record? Is it still the Philadelphia Eagles? I know they just got smoked by the 49ers. Everyone's going crazy saying Philly's not going to win anything. They're a bunch of frauds. They're going to go out and lose to Dallas and all of this left and right. Don't worry about it. Jalen Hurts is here to win an MVP because you look at these last 4 games after Dallas. We see what Dak Prescott's doing. He's going up there, killing the Giants and the Cardinals and the Seahawks, right? Yeah, it's the Eagles' time. After this Dallas game, Giants twice, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks. So maybe Jalen Hurts doesn't have the numbers as some of these other MVP candidates, but wait till this last month of the season. Let him stat pad. He'll have the numbers. He'll have the wins. They'll be right there for best record in the NFL, number 1 seed in the NFC, and he deserves this MVP because he should have got it last year. He got hurt those last 2 games, and fraudulently, Patrick Mahomes won it.
You know, when Dak beats Jalen Hurts this weekend, this ain't even going to be a conversation anymore.
Until Tua beats him.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Dak Prescott because just looking at his story in college, his mother passing away, in the NFL, his brother passing away, he's been very vocal about suicide prevention, about mental health, about depression. He won Walter Payton Man of the Year this past NFL season, and he was booed at the Super Bowl. So when we talk about one of the most hated players in the NFL, it is Dak Prescott. And this year, to me, feels like redemption to the point where the only team that's the boogeyman for the Cowboys is the 49ers, and I still feel upset in my stomach when I think about a potential matchup. But this season feels a bit magical for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. It just feels like this is his year to prove all the narratives wrong and for him to get his due diligence as one of the best quarterbacks of this era, of this decade, because that's what he's been.
I've been told that people don't like the gotcha moments on this show, and I can understand that. Sometimes it's hard to sit through myself. However, 2 points. One, I think he got booed winning Walter Payton Man of the Year in the Super Bowl because the Eagles were in it. Obviously, that makes the most sense to me. Number 2, when it comes to Dak Prescott, I'm glad that this has now been the rejuvenation that you've needed. He's been playing some great football. But after that game versus the Niners, it was a conversation about, I don't know if I can trust Dak anymore.
Against the Niners, absolutely.
But you're back in.
Against the Niners, absolutely.
Just in general, you're saying it's a great story. You're back in.
Dak
Prescott is a great story.
Dak Prescott is a great quarterback.
A great story.
And I'm in on him winning MVP. The 49ers, they still scare me as a boogeyman because they've just had their number.
No doubt.
But you look at Dak Prescott, 5 games of 3+ passing touchdowns this season, the most in the NFL.
He's been
5th in passing yards, 1st in passing touchdowns.
Say it again.
No, he's been stat padding and slit. I'm happy like a pig in shit.
14 right now.
Say it again.
Dak's game.
Oh, wow.
14.
He's 1st in passing yards. Last year, after having a career high in interceptions, everybody overblowing it, even though half of the interceptions, more than half, were receivers not catching the ball and them just going up in the air. He has the NFL's lowest turnover-worthy play percentage at 1.4%, which means 1.4% of the time, Dak is committing an errant throw that's turnover-worthy. He's tied 1st in QBR with Brock Purdy. He's 2nd in passer rating, only behind Brock Purdy. He's 1st in number of points contributed by a quarterback at 43.5. Number 2 is Josh Allen. Number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He's 1st in raw EPA, and that doesn't take into account strength of schedule. But what does take into account strength of schedule is pure passing EPA, where he's number 1 according to ESPN since week 6. 1st in EPA, 1st in success rate, 70% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 121 passer rating, 2,173 yards in 7 games, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns on top of that. Since the 49ers debacle, he has been the best quarterback in the NFL, and this is with no consistent running game. Tony Pollard has 1 game all year where he's rushed for 100 yards on the ground.
3 games in a row, Tony's been good. That's all I'm going to say. Continue.
But as a whole, the rushing attack has not been consistent for Dallas.
Agreed.
Just to give some comparisons, Miami Dolphins, Devon Achane has 3 100-yard rushing games on the season. Mostert has 2. CMC for the Niners has 4. DeAndre Swift for the Eagles has 2. The Cowboys had a ton of question marks coming into the season. One of them was Dak Prescott and his turnovers. He silenced those. One of that was Mike McCarthy. This is the most comfortable that Dak has ever been in an offense his entire career with Mike McCarthy. And this is all without a reliable second option in the passing game. CeeDee Lamb has 1,182 yards, but the second best pass catching option is Jake Ferguson, who has 498 and 497. The Niners have a 1K rusher right now. Ayuk's at 900 yards. Kittle's at 700. Debo's at 600. He's at 590 technically, and he's missed 3 games. The Dolphins, it's Tyreek and it's Jalen Waddle, and outside of that, there's not much there in terms of the passing attack. Dak Prescott, for the MVP to go to him, this only comes into fruition if he beats the Eagles, goes toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. Even if it's a close loss, still got to go toe-to-toe with him. Goes toe-to-toe with 2 on the Dolphins and wins, or it's a close game, beats the Lions. If Dak goes 2-2 in his next 4 games, he has a chance. If he goes 3-1 in the next 4 games, he's the favorite. If he goes 4-0 in the next 4 games, hand the award to him right now.
Bro, think that the Eagles.
That's what's going to happen with Dak Prescott. And really, the only tough game, the Eagles is the toughest test, and the Dolphins. They could beat the Bills, and they could beat the Lions. I feel very comfortable. The Lions one is the easiest one out of all those
Buffalo
games.
and Miami are on the road.
So I think Dak Prescott, if he wins 3 of the next 4, he will win MVP. But there has not been a quarterback outside of Josh Allen this year, statistically, that has done more with less than Dak Prescott.
My turn.
I'm wondering where Rib's going to go, because I knew where this guy was going.
I'm the wild card, right? I'm the wild card. Since week 6, Dak has played the Chargers defense, the Rams defense, the Eagles defense, the Giants defense, the Carolina Panthers defense, the Commanders defense, and the Seahawks defense. And since week 6, their defense has locked up every single one of these teams. Listen, Dak's MVP story is cute. It's admirable. He has a great story. He's a great quarterback. He's been playing phenomenal. But there's just something about a quarterback whose defense doesn't show up and who continues to come back and win games in the 4th quarter that just seems like MVP vibes to me. Now, me and Dehls and Drew, we were walking to the car one day after a show. You know, we had a good show. And they said, I don't stand on with my quarterback too much. And I felt slighted, and I felt like, no, I stand with my team. They're like, but you don't really defend your quarterback like that. So today I decided, after a long Sunday of just disrespect and constant ats, and after constant hate from my quarterback, I'm going to stay with my guy today, man. Jalen Hurts is the MVP, man. What are we doing? 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 29 total, if I'm not mistaken, 10 interceptions, 66% completion rate. He has went 5-0 on the stretch that you like to prop up about Dak stretch. Well, this man beat the Dolphins. This man beat the Chiefs. This man beat the Bills. I guess we could throw the Commanders in there. This man has went on they say our toughest schedule, where they thought we would come out 3-2, 2-3. We came out defeated. Jalen Hurts has, with this defense not being as good as advertised based off last year, secondary taking it deep, that run defense kind of getting cooked up in prime time games. Jalen Hurts has put the team on his back in second halves, and that's what you want an MVP to do. That's what you need an MVP to do. And credit to Brock Purdy. That's my dog. He's been doing what he's been doing. But MVP is most valuable player. What Jalen Hurts has done in these games where his defense is not locking teams up like another guy over there in, Dallas. His defense is at giving up a shit ton of points to, Sam Howell and the Commanders. Josh Allen, respect to him. Jalen Hurts just has to go out there and put on points after points to get this W. So my MVP, undoubtedly, is that boy in Philadelphia. Is Jalen Hurts, man.
Once I saw you tweet it, saw the time we started the game, I was like, hold on. I've seen a lot of AJ Brown, I've seen a lot of Smitty.
It's time. It's too much. It's one thing to hate. It's another when you start disrespecting my quarterback, and now it's starting to become a little too egregious. So we here.
Love that.
I like this rivalry that's being brought
This isn't
back
a rivalry
in the NFC East, because I remember a couple years ago when we first started the podcast, the first episode, you can go look it up on YouTube. Just go to earliest. The title's going to be Dak versus Carson Wentz. Who's the better quarterback? Because at the time, a lot of people picked Carson Wentz, and Riv stood 10 toes with his quarterback. And I think that's what gave him PTSD when not standing with Jalen Hurts, because he noticed that Dak Prescott beat out that first fraud in Carson Wentz. And now he's standing strong with Jalen Hurts and hopes that Dak Prescott doesn't beat him out again.
A man that didn't win a Super Bowl, never made his NFC Championship, beat out another quarterback that also didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
It's definitely completely leaning towards Dak.
For sure.
Carson Wentz, has he won a playoff game?
He didn't. He unfortunately never got to play a playoff game.
He did again. Oh, you're right. He got injured.
Got hurt.
He got injured against Seattle.
It was great times.
He had an MVP season.
To be honest, he had a season that
MVP.
When he went that year versus Seattle.
Oh, that was great.
Have the MVP year.
He had to come back,
bro.
He did what Hurts is doing now.
What it's most reminiscent of is like a Justin Herbert type deal where he did not have the weapons last year.
I believe we were like 5-6. He had to win like 4 straight.
And he had himself a superhero season.
Sure.
Shout out to Wentz. At the time, it was a debate.
Hilarious, because before that, we went. They've stuck with Dak, no ring, and we've went through Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Mark Sanchez. We went through all these quarterbacks. Finally got to Jalen Hurts. So we've now made a Super Bowl. We've got a Super Bowl ring, and it's just funny. They're still with Dak, and they still have nothing.
Shout out to Nick Foles.
Shout out to Nick Foles.
Shout out to Nick Foles.
He is a Philadelphia legend.
Dak could never.
Oh, he could. He's got to have the right situation. Maybe this is the year. You never know.
I don't know. Last year's situation seemed to be pretty damn good.
Tony Pollard got injured in the second round.
I understand.
They don't got another.
You guys did prop up that Tampa Bay performance like he was going to Golden Run.
I mean, listen,
never forget.
He was
and
perfect.
Then let's talk about
Tampa
2
Bay.
years before that. They definitely had a good enough situation to win too.
He did.
Oh, when they lost to 49ers? 49ers have been their boogeyman. That's the one team they really cannot match up against. That's it. But and it's just unfortunate because that year I like the Cowboys, but once they got matched up with the 49ers, I said I'm picking the 49ers.
I need 2 more.
This conversation we could have it legitimately every week. Right? That's how close it is.
No, that one hits. It's a Fox and Halley is a combo, and then Brown and Buddy are a combo.
Jalen hit, by the way. Never in doubt.
Jalen Brown to 20 points.
Easy. 25.
Overreaction or not? The overreaction I have is the Lions are closer to a wild card exit than they are an NFC Championship appearance.
I think that's fine. I don't think it's an overreaction.
Is it overreaction saying the Texans are better than the Lions?
Wait, so hold on. If they win the first round, so they win the wild card round, which is because then it's like you're one step before one. You know what I mean? Like
you're saying they're closer to a first round exit than competing and making it to the NFC Championship.
Because I think they'll win. I think they'll win the first round.
Let me offer you the scenario.
Depends on who they play.
First round of the playoffs, the Lions face the Rams.
I mean, if they play Green Bay
In the first round, if the Lions face the Rams, who you taking? Matthew Stafford led Rams or the Lions?
Oh, that'd be a fun
I'll
game.
be fucking damned if I pick against Mr. Matty Staffy.
That'd be a tough game. That'd be a fire. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, Stafford.
On the
going
I would
back.
go with the Rams.
How could you not?
I would pick the Rams, and I'll pick Matthew Stafford to put a dagger in
love,
Lions fans' hearts.
On the Lions?
I love.
I don't give a fuck. I love Matthew
love.
Stafford. And that was my overreaction in week 1 that the Rams would make the playoffs. Still alive and well.
My overreaction is this is going to be the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career he won't reach the AFC Championship game.
Ooh.
Talk to him.
I like how people, and it's with respect that Mahomes and Andy Reid have earned, but it's too much of the, it's just Mahomes, they'll figure it out. It's just Andy Reid. I think this year they have serious, legit problems. It's good overreaction though. Here's my overreaction.
We can't people.
Well, we got to get our answers.
Yeah, I need to get
You
people.
ain't let us get our answers.
I'm so sorry, guys. I apologize.
Not an overreaction.
Not over.
No,
I think
shocker.
I like that is overreaction. I like it though.
So
It's
you
a good
think they
one.
will make it?
No, I don't think. Wait, AFC Championship.
Miami.
Championship game.
Baltimore,
Enough with
AFC
Miami.
chip.
I'm gonna go. Fuck.
It's an overreaction.
Sleep on Miami. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not
Enough of
sleep-
Miami.
I
You're
just-
sleeping.
It's an overreaction because there's not a team, even with the Chiefs' offensive problems, that I feel comfortable in them getting knocked off against in the playoffs.
I think
If-
Baltimore would beat them.
If they face the Jaguars,
They have the number.
I
Andy
think the
Reid's got
Chiefs
his
beat
number.
the Jaguars. If they face a team in the wild card, right now they would be slotted to face the Steelers. I think they beat the Steelers. I think they beat the Colts. I think they beat the Texans. I think they beat the Bills. I think they could even beat the Broncos if they match up again in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
The two toughest teams are going to be the Dolphins and the Ravens, and they've already beat the Dolphins. So I think it's an overreaction. I think they're going to go to the AFC Championship. Not making the Super Bowl, a different story, but they will go to the AFC Championship this year.
Dolphins, who could have home field advantage, and last time it was overseas, it was in Germany. I don't know. I don't expect.
You don't even
the
know.
Dolphins
You
to
don't
play
even
that
know
bad.
what to expect for Miami in a playoff game at home.
I mean, I guess that's fair to say because we haven't seen it. That's a good point, brother. But at the same time, I think that at the same time, what's wrong?
I need some fucking threes in there. Take
Is
it.
Buddy Hield selling? Because I know
No, they're just
Jalen
not
hit a
taking
three.
threes. I need threes.
I was
I
gonna
need
say,
threes.
I saw
threes.
Jalen hit a three. But again, the way that Miami's defense has been playing as of late has been awesome. But then you look at the other side, you have Devon Chain back into the lineup. You understand how versatile he makes that offense. And on top of it, Tua is playing pretty great football. On top of it, Tyreek's been amazing. The one piece that needs to get going is Jalen Waddle, just on a little bit more of a consistent basis.
Tyrese is nuts, bro.
Yeah, I
Oh
saw
my
him
God.
tweaking. I saw him
Now
tweaking.
he's
And
just
one
gonna
on
hit
Jalen
those
Brown.
three. Oh, is it and one?
Oh, he hit a three? Oh, yeah.
I think he has 5. Doesn't
Yes,
he
he
have
does that
Yeah.
five.
Yeah.
Fox, all you need to do is get one. Yeah, let's go for $1,000.
But you need Jalen and
No, that's a
Buddy.
different. There's two different separate bets
Oh, okay. I
for
love to
2K.
hear that.
I
love
would
to
have
hear that.
loved 2K, but I will settle for one.
Yeah, one's
Just,
fine.
Respect.
One
it.
is fine. I like that statement though. I definitely think that I would love that very much so.
I have two. Do you want to go or you want me?
Here
I
to give
went
us.
already.
What'd you say?
The Lions.
Oh, okay. I got two. This one's.
How about you give one and then I'll give one and then you can give your second.
oh, you
just
didn't
in
go yet?
case. I didn't.
All right, so let's go AFC. Okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna go AFC first. Twinsky, if he gets into the playoffs, will knock off a big dog in the first round.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna say who.
The Dolphins, we know that.
No.
He would knock them out.
Let me clarify who the big dogs are. So Miami, Jacksonville, with respect, because they will win the division. Baltimore, the Chiefs. If the Buffalo get in, I would consider them a big dog. I don't know how they play or not, but I would consider them because of Josh Allen. So basically, the quarterbacks, the Texans will knock off a big dog on the road in the first round.
Dolphins aren't losing.
I don't know who, but I'm just letting you know they will.
It's
do
not
it.
an overreaction.
Good overreaction.
It's
No,
not an
a-
overreaction.
I like that.
It's a good overreaction.
buddy. Oh
Streets
shit!
needed that. Streets needed that.
I need one
He hit a
more.
three.
I'm trying to see
Yeah.
cash.
Fuck you ahead of
I'm
me.
trying to see cash.
Because you have the Sportacular, bro. You're not gonna be ahead of me.
He's watching on Sports Center, like the.
No,
game.
I'm play like
Game
play
cast?
by, yeah,
I understand.
Play by play.
I have this Mickey Mouse in season tournament, man. I didn't even want it.
He wanted it bad. That's the only chance of the chip you're gonna get.
Nah,
Because
yeah.
also the championship game was going to be on his born.
Yeah, that would have been tough.
That sucks.
You can watch the
I do
Lakers
feel
take it
bad
home,
for you.
baby.
No
Hey,
way.
but I like that a couple weeks. So you took Tyrese Halliburton over Trey Young. Really appreciate that.
Trae
You know,
Young's
we
been
went on
hooping.
Tyrese wave.
Tra-
Tyrese is better though.
Trey has been going nuts.
Tyrese is better though. Shout out Trey Young, but Tyrese
Your old
is just
number
better.
1 point guard in the league.
Yeah, nice. 2 years ago.
Never forget.
Listen, if you couldn't call Jordan Love a joke 4 years ago, I could call Trae Young,
And he hasn't
the
even
number
played.
one. That's even crazier. Say he's a joke and he hasn't even played.
Bro, he was fucking around in practice. What do you want me to say? Take it serious.
For me, I watched playoff
4
series
years
where
ago.
Trae Young laid a dud.
You held on something for 4 years. 4 years.
It was actually like 3 years ago.
I know.
Yes.
Still not that good.
One down, one to go. Come
Not him saying it's not good that you held on for that long.
That video pops up occasionally in my head.
Oh my God.
He's a joke.
He was.
This guy thinks he's gonna be good.
I didn't say all that.
Yes, you did.
All I said was he's kind of a joke right now.
Bro, you didn't say
I know he's kind of a joke. That's exactly how I said it.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Give your reaction and then I'm gonna pull up the video.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
My overreaction is if and when Tyreek Hill breaks the record for most receiving yards in a season, he will have a top 3 peak of any receiver all time.
Top 3 peak of all time. So we talked about this earlier. You're talking about Jerry Rice.
Correct.
Talking about Randy Moss.
Correct.
Calvin.
Correct.
Antonio Brown.
Correct.
Tyreek Hill be number 5.
Tyreek Hill, to me, I think if he makes history this year, the peak will be higher than Antonio Brown. Pretty set in stone for me that it will be higher than Antonio Brown.
He got so lucky, man. That boy and Minnie got hurt.
Listen, Jettis definitely can enter this conversation.
He was on his way to some shit, man. 24 years old.
The one thing that I will say, just to read you some stats of the last 4 years from Tyreek Hill, and why this is also amazing is because he went from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa, a guy who people were trying to tell me that Tyreek Hill wasn't going to be the same level of player because he was dropping off so significantly, allegedly. Now, in the last 4 years, we've seen Tyreek Hill in 2020 put up 1,276 yards. He had 15 touchdowns. That's his career high, which he is on pace to break this year. Went 1,239 yards in 2021, 9 touchdowns. He went 1,710 yards last season, a career high for him, 7 touchdowns, and 1,481 at this point in time, at the end of week 13, and 12 touchdowns. He is on pace for over 2,000 receiving yards, and he is on pace for 17 touchdowns, which again would be his career high in a season. If you take this into account with how much he has also impacted how GMs and teams draft the wide receiver position, his impact is leaving a lasting impression on the National Football League. And on top of it, the production is there to put him with the best of the best. In my opinion, my overreaction, which honestly doesn't feel like an overreaction to me, is that he has a top 3 peak. And why I say it's an overreaction, because it hasn't been done yet. But I do believe that he will be able to accomplish that.
What's your last overreaction, Riff?
Here we go. This one, Dehls might not like this one. I don't know. He's fake, man. Dehls don't be trying to stand on 10.
What I do? Oh, Fields.
Last overreaction for my Chicago Bears, man. Overreaction, I'm going to go Chicago believes in Fields, thinks he can be better than Caleb and Drake, trade the number 1 pick, build around him, and they make the playoffs next year.
Okay.
I'm going all. I'm going. Listen, I'm going like I did with my Browns. Unfortunately, I have bad quarterback play. I'm going all in. I think Chicago keeps Fields, builds the offense, continues to build that defense, drafts well, goes in the next year, make the playoffs.
Let me tell you, it's not insane. I think it's an overreaction.
100%.
It's not
It
insane.
100% is
I get it.
an overreaction.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. I thought you were saying insane.
No, it's a little bit insane. It is a little bit.
Oh, it's a little crazy.
A little bit.
A little
If
bit
they get
crazy.
that first overall pick, they're drafting a quarterback.
But the defense has definitely improved this season with limited talent for sure. At the same time, you have upside for next year. 2 potential top 5 picks in the draft. I can see your vision.
I mean, if they get a better coach.
Jim Harbaugh can definitely make this team a legit.
Shit.
Do you think he's gonna want his guy though?
Yes.
JJ McCarthy?
No, I'm
What just
not
happened?
McCarthy, but I'm saying Caleb.
JJ McCarthy.
I'm
Second.
like, what the fuck?
He's gonna be lifting up the trophy at the end of the season, boy.
He should. The Michigan's the best team.
I'm scared. Playing Bama around 1 kind of sucks.
That is a tough draw.
Heard
Kinda
Jalen
sucks.
Milroy can't throw.
He really can.
He's
He's
been
not that
playing
great.
better.
Cooking lately though.
Yeah, but
He has.
he did play very well
He was about to start the year.
against, who was it? I'm blanking. Was it Oklahoma State?
Drew, I have the video,
played
by the
Georgia
way.
last
Georgia. That's why I'm Oklahoma State. Who am I- I'm thinking Texas.
Dehls and Riv, I want you guys to tell me if this was a disrespectful tone because we were arguing about this tone.
And remember how I said, he's a joke.
My biggest issue with Jordan Love is that I don't think he's that good.
In the few highlights in training.
Oh,
camp.
sorry, you don't have your headphones on, Riv? My goodness.
Lock in.
I was trying to be more tech savvy this podcast.
Sorry. Start it off.
Okay, y'all ready?
In practices,
Preseason,
he looks like a joke. He can't really. Was that go the to exact ball same that tone I great. just used? This is this guy. He
I was gonna
loves.
say, he
Jordan
likes Jordan Love,
No,
right?
No, loves Jordan Love.
You're welcome.
And it's like to a degree, it makes no sense. I mean, from what you've seen in training camp, you love this guy.
To deny
I
the
love my
arm
tone of
talent
voice.
that
So
he
high
has is unbelievable from you two. Jordan Love, to me, he's the real deal. And people are going to start to see it. I know it's against the Chiefs, but you're going to get a glimpse of that, a glimpse of why they drafted him in the first
And he
round.
didn't have
My
a good
biggest
game.
issue with Jordan Love is that
Did he not say he's a joke disrespectfully?
Jalen
It wasn't
Brown.
great.
I mean,
But
can
I
you ever
said-
say or joke in a respectful
No, I
way?
definitely didn't say it was respectful. I didn't say that. I gave you the tone of
No,
voice.
Dehls.
the tone of voice you said, I said, he's a joke. Like, he's a joke.
That was Jalen.
Which is
He had
exactly
another
how I said
3,
it.
but
Who?
it doesn't matter.
Who?
Jalen Brown had another 3. I'm sitting at 5. I need one more 3 with 10 seconds left. Yeah, why could you hit that earlier?
Damn.
He went 2 for 7 from 3, and Buddy went 3 for 5. You needed 5.5. Ouch, that was a lot.
I feel like Brown hits one more because I thought Buddy was going to take more than 5.
If you're in the chat right now, let us know if Drew used the same tone of "Am I a joke?" and
No, that was
what he just used in
tone
the
was
video.
mad disrespectful in that video. Like,
It was, but I
mad
said
disrespectful.
he's been a joke.
He looks
That's
like a joke.
No, my voice also sounded hella high pitched there too.
He looks like a joke.
I
That's why I held on to. That's why I wrote it. I called him a
Yeah,
joke.
he was ready for that. He was ready.
Offensive
happy.
rebound. Go ahead. Buddy stole the ball from Tatum. Oh my Tatum! You're an idiot.
C3 JJ goes OSU over UM. I don't care. Also, Zach Taylor masterclass right now.
All right, the Jaguars are
Yeah,
losing.
it was 4. Last I saw it was 14-14.
The Jaguars are mid.
Clicky Cleese Ricky goes.
I have to read
Tatum will
Wow.
never be on Luka's level. The inconsistencies of Tatum's offensive game are horrible. He shoots the long ball too much. Luka clears.
Luka not shoot more threes than Tatum? I mean, they're percentage-wise this year. They're like, I think they're both around like 38% or something like that.
On to the last segment of the show. NFL power rankings after week 13. I'll give my top 10. Number 10, I have the Buffalo Bills. They were on a bye week. I still think they're a top 10 team. The defense isn't terrible, and Josh Allen always gives you a high floor, and I think they will make the playoffs. Number 9, the Houston Texans just came off of beating the red-hot Broncos team. The defense really got them this victory. This is a complete team all around. Number 8, am I getting too ahead of myself? I got the Green Bay Packers after they beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, after they beat the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. They're going to
Who'd
make
you
the
take out?
playoffs.
The Chiefs
They're
are just
going
fraudulent. Why
to
can't we just call
run
it how it is?
the
The
table.
Chiefs are
Who'd you take
fraudulent.
out then? From the week
The Lions are not a top 10 team in
I
my
don't think he
opinion.
had the Lions.
Oh,
He had the
okay,
Lions
okay.
last year.
The Bill, I didn't have the Lions
Did you have
last
the
week.
Broncos?
Last week.
Last week I did have the Broncos.
Thanks, bro.
The Packers number 8. You want to put them at number 9 over the Texans, whatever, but I think the Packers are a top 10 team right
Better
now.
than the Bills
Number 7, the Jacksonville
The
Jaguars.
Packers are better than the Bills.
for power rankings. Yes.
Both sides, complete team. Yes, I think.
Buffalo ain't even complete.
Number 7, the Jaguars. If they lose to Cincinnati, which the game is ongoing right now, they could drop. Number 6, I got the Dolphins here. Number 5, the Chiefs. Number 4, the Cowboys. Number 3, the Eagles. Number 2, the Ravens. And the best team in football is the San Francisco 49ers.
My turn.
So you got the Eagle. Oh no, you have Cowboys for Eagles here. Okay. I thought I heard the other way
If the
around.
Cowboys beat the Eagles next week,
That's valid.
it's
That's
flipping.
valid.
The Jaguars lose this game, they will drop out of my top 10 so fast.
Undoubtedly,
It
I
won't
have
even
them
blink.
discussed.
So I have 10. I got Buffalo. I do bring Buffalo back into the horizons. So Josh,
Welcome, my friend.
Something about Josh Allen, man. It's just late game.
17% chance to make the playoffs, by the way. 17.
If
Chance
it's
to chance.
one man that can do it,
It's Russell Wilson.
okay, you cooked a little bit, but it's Josh Allen.
Thanks.
10, I got Buffalo. 9, I got Detroit. 8 is where I put Twinsky. I got the Texans at 8. 7, I have the Jaguars. 6, I got Chiefs. 5, Dallas. 4, Miami. 3 is where I slot Philly. 2, I got Baltimore. And number 1, I got the Niners, best team in the league.
I'm standing 10 toes on my Broncos. Number 10, Denver Broncos. Number 9, the Buffalo Bills. Honestly, should be reversed. It is what it is. Actually, I'm going to revise that. Number 10, the Buffalo Bills. Number 9, the Denver Broncos. Number 8, got to pay respects. They did just beat us, the Houston Texans. Number 7, the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is definitely subject to change if they do lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 5, Kansas City Chiefs. Week by week, we're seeing this team move down a little bit more. Number 4, the Miami Dolphins. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 1, deservedly so, the San
Those
Francisco
Texans is
49ers.
crazy, but I let
I
it go.
said the Texans were number 8.
Oh, you're made. Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
I put them one spot ahead of the Broncos.
At 10, I have the Buffalo Bills. 9, Detroit Lions. 8, Houston Texans. They're rising, man. 7, Miami Dolphins. 6, Jacksonville Jaguars. 5, Kansas City Chiefs. 4, Cowboys. 3, Ravens. 2,
The
Eagles.
Jags are
Respect
not
them.
better than the Dolphins.
1, 49ers.
They're not better.
Maybe. They're 6 and 7, but it's interchangeable.
You kept this the same for like 8 weeks.
You have.
I mean, have anything in these last few weeks proven otherwise? These last 2 weeks, Jags been cooking.
They have
They're
been.
getting clamped.
Right
Yeah.
now, I mean, no, they're not able to stop.
We did
them.
all
They're able to
admit
score.
that if the Jaguars lose
14
tonight, we will kick
points.
them out the top 10.
I agree. Yeah.
He might not kick them out the top 10.
They might fall to like
Yeah.
10. They're still gonna,
But yeah, the Lions are not a top 10 team in the NFL, bro.
The defense
They've really
I have
fell
them
off,
9,
bro.
I have them 9.
Hard. They've fallen off hard. In the playoffs, if they
They were
matched
fucking
up
around last week. I mean, they
Joe
were
makes sense, too.
21-0, and then they just.
I'll be honest,
fucking
the
around.
Colts shouldn't have won that game.
Jake Browning's 19 of 21. I can't wait to watch this one back. 19 of 21?
It's cooking right now.
That's why they should have shout
Joe
out
Burrow's
Joe
a
Burrow
system quarterback, man.
for the
I'm
first
trying
5
to tell
weeks.
y'all.
Oh, man.
Trying to tell you
Brown
about
is
Joe
good.
Burrow, bro.
Yeah, man.
All Zach Taylor and those weapons.
You know, I want to give you guys a little hypothetical.
Oh, shit.
He made one.
They hit 6 threes. What? 2K is still in play? Oh, shit, buddy, motherfucker. Oh, shit.
Yo, no
Yeah.
way. He really hit a 3.
I don't know when he did it.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Come on, pal.
So you won your
Kings.
bet?
Nah, yeah, I got to wait for the Kings and the Pels and shit.
What do you need in the Kings
What
and
do you
Pels
got?
game?
I'll tell you right now. I need
JB
the Malik Monk, the 14 points. I need Zion to go a game score over of 38.
I'm actually scared for that one.
I need Kevin Herter to
he was
hit
ass
3.
last game.
Well, what I've been reading from Twitter is that the Pelicans own the Kings.
No. And Zion kills.
I need Keegan Murray over 12.5, and then Kevin Herter 3 threes, man.
The Keegan and Kevin Herter one is tricky.
It's tricky ones.
But listen, it's very winnable. I posed you guys.
Jamar Chase 76-yard touchdown.
I'll
Wow.
do it.
Just right now it happened?
Right now.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Jacksonville's mid. They're mid.
They're just not. It's one of those cases where you go into a
How do you
game.
defend this?
You go into a game thinking that it's gonna be an easy breeze. Really, that's really what it is. They're getting gut
We're
punched. Right
defending
now.
this?
They're getting gut
I
punched. Right now.
can't.
There's no
I
doubt.
can't do it.
There's no doubt. Listen, they're getting gut punched. Every team.
We're
got a
gonna have
bad loss.
conversations.
we sure are gonna have some Patreon nasty conversations.
If the Packers make the NFC Championship, what are you doing? What are you saying?
Shaking your hand.
Bro, that random.
They could beat the Packers. They could beat the Eagles. I mean, in the playoffs.
Ooh,
The Packers.
yo, you know what the fuck is so funny?
They could beat.
I was
them.
talking to my brother. My brother's a diehard Green Bay fan. And he was like, Rip, that's your problem. You're never worried. And I was like, why would I be worried if we're one of the best teams in the league? And he was like, well, you know, the Green Bay, they've been on the streak. And this is why what you just said gave me so much PTS fucking D and so much deja vu. Because he told me this last night that if we get to the playoffs, we play the Eagles, we could beat y'all. And I was like, what makes you say that? He's like, just watch, bro. Trust me. Now I just
Watch,
yeah.
bro, trust
So
me.
I hope we play y'all, bro, because you just you killed me.
Jordan Love
I hope-
masterclass. He's had a masterclass in Philadelphia before.
I hope we go Green Bay, then Dallas, then the Niners, because that would be just a beautiful moment for me. Because then I could just shit on you for 2 straight weeks, and then we just get our get back from the Niners.
Jordan Love is going to do something that Rodgers couldn't, and that's beat the 49ers in the playoffs one day. It might be this year. It might be the Packers Super Bowl appearance this year. It might be J Love, baby.
What's the point of this?
Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
Piece of shit.
What do you do?
Just had a bang.
allergic to winning when it counts. Fucking idiot.
Santos, last super chat we're going to read, then we're going to end the show. I hope the Sharpies help y'all. And Riv, the videos I sent you had me dying.
Shout out Santos, man.
Santos, keep sending them on, man.
He's trying to get a bunch of gotcha moments on Twitter. I respect the hell out of that.
If you guys want to watch our Pick'em show, we will be recording it on Wednesday. We'll be going exclusively on
Are we back on
Patreon.
TikTok?
Yes, we should be on TikTok again. Also, to let you guys know, and I've heard this from a couple people in the comment section, they've written it. You can subscribe to our Spotify memberships with the link in our description. So if you want to get the extra episode a week, and if you want to get ad-free audio podcast from us, you subscribe to the Spotify membership. And we're going to try to get the YouTube memberships out as well. So if you want the Pick'em episode, you can get it on Spotify, on Patreon, or on YouTube. Either one of those three works. Just to let you guys know.
Yes, sir.
But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yo, buddy really